Just getting some U.S. durable goods data coming through here. Negative 6.1% on the month-over-month number for January versus a consensus negative 4.5% print expected there at 8:30. Again, that's January durable goods. That is Bitcoin. Wow, almost 58,000 at the top there. Huge move for crypto markets. 2 days in a row here to the upside. We'll touch on some of the equities moving around here related to crypto. Obviously in the pre-market looking pretty good, all gapping to the upside. There was some selling to discuss. However, going into the close yesterday, we'll touch on that. A number of things with earnings this morning. I was just having a look at Macy's. They reported low to the downside a little bit here as well after their earnings report. Zoom, however, nice look for ZM, higher off of earnings. Unity downside. So all the Cathie Wood names moving around here so far this morning. It's Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there it is. Cathie Wood in there selling yesterday. 6.9 million worth of Coinbase and Robinhood as we got that move yesterday in Bitcoin, benefiting some of these names. So yeah, offloading a little bit of her equity holdings in relation to Bitcoin, obviously, but still very much long. There's the overall market. Set to open here basically dead flat. We've had 2 days in a row consolidating for not only the Qs, but even if we flip over to the SPY on a daily chart, same thing. We're just kind of hanging out here this morning within yesterday's range. But yeah, I mean, there is a few things moving around as far as equities are concerned, all crypto related and earnings related this morning.
Yeah, I'm picking up some crypto, Brendo, finally. First time ever picking up some IBIT and maybe a mining name, and definitely some Coinbase as crypto continues to be really strong. Also looking at some cybersecurity names, Brendo, in the long-term portfolio. But yeah, Zoom really interesting, Macy's really interesting as well. A lot of cuts there. As they look to restructure and focus more on some high-end brands. So super interesting.
Yeah, closing more stores, not good for retail, unfortunately. But yeah, I was reading actually late yesterday, inflows continue to just be off the charts for all of these Bitcoin-related ETFs. So yeah, good look as far as the ETFs are concerned. But it's all about crypto names here, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Crypto to the moon. But you know what? I'm going to get one thing off my chest because people have probably heard about Nancy Pelosi buying PanW, Palo Alto, before earnings and after earnings. And I've heard a couple of times like, oh, Pelosi effect, this and that. Or how about it's just like a company that is good that a lot of people thought was a good buy. Like it's, like I know there's not a conspiracy everywhere. Like sometimes it's just a good company going up. And I don't think she, like whatever, like you bought a good stock. I don't know whether or not she has any inside info. As far as I'm concerned, if it's good, you buy it off the 200-period moving average. This is on watch. I said I'd be happy and have bigger smiles on my face when it tagged the 50-period moving average, and it did that this morning. So I'm pretty pleased about it. The Bitcoin move is pretty intense. Shout out to Reef, who's apparently getting into the game as well. Mara is absolutely flying. I mean, pulling back a little bit, but if you look at this daily chart on Mara, I wonder what that looks like. No, that couldn't be a potential top break here on Mara. We'll see. You got to watch out for BTC. You don't necessarily want to be going against the grain if this is going to take out this 32 high. I think as long as it's between that 31, 32, it provides you a bit of a zone for it to rally into it. Earnings were mixed. I mean, Zoom up, Unity down. Macy's was a bit flat. Workday had to move. But I feel like you're going back to the well with some key names. Tesla had a big, strong day yesterday. Want to go right back there, look at that. Can't ignore the chip names because they've been big players. Google was ridiculously weak yesterday, so that has to be in play. Apple in the 180 level, still very much in play. So there's a lot to look at. And I guess front and center are going to be those crypto names. What an absolute rally. We're now under 20%. Well, from the high. We're under 20% from the all-time high in Bitcoin. I would probably pull back under that now.
Yeah, this is, I said I was like, it's great to get in now. I feel like it's been a nice little run. Can it continue from this point? We'll see. I mean, 57,000, I think is pretty strong. We've been talking the last two podcasts about buying up Bitcoin and iBit and all this kind of stuff. So congratulations if you've been paying attention to that, because on Friday, the trade that we left the show with was buy Bitcoin. So that's down here at 29. Now you're going to wake up at 32 today. And then we've been talking about buying it for a minute as well. I really thought the inflows went really well. That's only 12 billion or something in the 13 ETFs. I feel like we can get a lot higher than that with the S&P, the SPY at 500 billion. I really like it. I'm writing down on my sticky note though, that Coinbase, the Coinbase move and the Mara move are way, way huge. And at some point they're going to fall down, and I'm looking at a 210 area here for Coinbase, but at the same time watching out for 58,000 down here on crypto. So we'll watch out for Coinbase, but I think it is a short at that 210 if it gets up there. I feel like people are going to rush and buy a lot of these up here at the open, so we could get a little bit of an outsized move. See if we can fade it a little bit. Well, but only a little bit. We don't want to hold on for too long. And then Roku on a nice little downgrade today. Roku, I'm writing it on the sticky note here. If the NASDAQ continues to make little waterfall moves like this, then I think Roku can break 60 and then we'll be in trouble. But now we're starting to get all the way back up here. So we held 18,000 basically. We went down to 990 and now you're back up. So 10 handles down, 15 handles up, right now around 18,000. So it's going to be, I mean, look, it'll be another big day here. We'll focus on some chip names, but I don't actually have any besides ARM.
ARM.
On.
Shout out to Mike Crehan. Appreciate you in the super chat there, brother.
What was he saying?
Don't forget ARM lockup coming up soon.
Oh, I'm not forgetting.
March 12th. Mark it on your calendar. You know SoftBank's got that marked on their calendar for sure, and they've probably got like an algo ready to go. Because that's how you sell shares when you're going to release them in the market. But it is what it is. Like ARM actually down 1% today. This looked like it was going to be a 150 test when I sat down, and it's now at $143. So, I mean, I wrote down one number. I just can't accept that. I'm like, oh, ARM 150. There's no other number to look at other than 165. And now I'm wondering if we even get back to 150. I think this is going to turn into a fade before they actually have that lockup release, because everyone's anticipating it so much and it's now flown so high. Everyone knows SoftBank's going to be selling shares. Yeah,
we took probably around $13 to $15 short yesterday in ARM. So I think we'll try to do it again here today. I like the short in ARM, boys.
Just reading some comments here on the overall economy. We were just mentioning that durable goods number that came out at 8:30, much worse than expected. 6.1%, negative 6.1% versus negative 4.5% expected there. Goldman Sachs CEO making some comments here, also in the direction of being concerned about a soft landing holding at this point. I mean, we had a few comments on this side of the border over the past couple of days talking about the state of this economy. Obviously, very different, but I think it was one of the banks. I forget which one was making the argument that we're actually already in a recession if you factor in how many new people there are living in this country over the past couple of months and base that number off of what is actually happening as far as growth is concerned, and it's off the chart. Anyway, here's the dollar right now, holding on to 103.75. But I mean, there are starting to be some signs here, some cracks in the armor maybe as far as the U.S. economy as well.
Yeah, he was blaming a lot of this on the geopolitical headwinds, Brendo, saying that the soft landing that we've all been looking for may not manifest in the way that we're all expecting. He said that consumer behavior has really softened, and that's really hurt the retail side as well as the goods services of the economy. Says that these that they've got more work to do in that end. Says that credit is tightening up as well for certain segments of the economy. For certain segments, usually the middle class basically can't access credit at these rates, Brendo, and they're making stuff a little bit harder.
Yeah, and this comes at the end of yesterday. We got those comments suggesting that rate cuts could be. It was Desjardins that made those comments. I just remembered that for the Canadian economy. But we got comments yesterday in the U.S. suggesting rate cuts could come no sooner than the end of the year at this point, possibly. They were talking about, Desjardins was talking about in this country going back to 2.5% on a benchmark rate by the end of next year.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that was based off the fact that they feel that the economy is already in a recession in Canada. But yeah, negative 6.1%, guys, on that durable goods number there. One that you can kind of pin up on the wall, I think, and keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing for me is just we're bouncing off 18,000. Like we always draw these like sort of random lines. They're not random. We draw these lines in the sand at key support and resistance. Now I'm going to have the cues up because I feel like a lot of people probably look at that, and you'll see what happened in the afternoon. That's at 437. But if I looked up at the NASDAQ futures, you'll see what I mean by 18,000. So, you know, there is your 18,000 level when it broke down, and we lost it in the afternoon, and you've just broken back out stair step above it. So it's not the Alamo or anything, because clearly we had other bottoms which got put in, which have held and rallied away from, but that higher low is going to be key for the opening range, at least for myself, on that NASDAQ. We're going to get that PCE later this week, and look, it's going to be an important number, no questions about it, but I always feel that, you know, it's a bull market till it ain't, and in a general sense, when we're doing this, yes, we might be cresting at the top, but you're still at the top, and you're getting a decent consolidation up at these highs. That certainly means there are going to be some names which are weak, which is why we're not busting through. You've seen that happen. You saw that happen with Google yesterday. But in an overall sense, it also does feel like we could be like cresting for a little bit of a breakout. But hey, if you're sick and tired of the Qs and the Magnificent Seven, you can always get some granola in your life, apparently, because I learned today that I didn't know this thing existed, man. I learned today that there's a term for the top 12 like European names which account for like all of the growth in the European market.
Oh, granola?
Yeah, it's some crap that I shouldn't say crap. I don't know. I think it was like one of the banks came up with it like apparently like 4 years ago, and I've never heard it till today. And it was the GlaxoSmithKline, the G. I know that much. I know the A is ASML for obviously, and then I'm sure we could probably guess a few of the others. I don't know, but it's like, do we have to have an acronym for everything? I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, apparently. I never heard of that.
Like, it's weird. I'm like, but that said, I actually found it to be cooler than the Mag 7. I think granola sounds great because everyone needs, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Get a little in your life. But
put some yogurt, granola. We'll have to figure it all out.
Well, I love yogurt with granola.
Oh, man. Yeah, look, I feel like yesterday we didn't do much. And, we'll see if we can hover around here. I still think the move is coming lower, just because the market, and I just think a pullback is somewhat healthy at some point. So I feel like we could pull back just a little bit. If we look at actually here, let's just look at the NQs on the daily here, just real quick, just to see what we're talking about. All right, so the 50-period moving average right here on the NASDAQ is down to 17.3. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back into like 17.6, maybe look at 17.5, something in and around there. I mean, we talked about this again on the podcast, how basically the S&P 500 is now above pretty much everybody's forecast for the full year. So a little bit of a pullback in here to let some buying happen, like we keep talking about, I feel like is it healthy to let this market continue to breathe a little bit. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do fall back in. I don't think it'll be necessarily today. I don't know if we have any negative headlines to create something like that, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And it might be some of that arms selling that creates, some jitters in the market. Yesterday we tried to go long on NVIDIA. We talked about that breaking through 805. Now it's not.
At the low.
Not so bad, down to 787 and going lower here. Finally, when's the last time we logged in at 8:30 and saw NVIDIA down against the market? You're probably going to fact check, it was probably yesterday or something, but the idea is that it's not very often are we seeing this kind of negative divergence rate here. And then how close is Apple to 180? So this market is very, very close to tipping over. It's just, do you want to bet that it's going to happen today? So I don't know. AMD is what, 174, 176? Okay. So anyways, we're getting close. I feel like that there could be a little bit of a move down. You've already saw Google, which I really like. Obviously, we talked about this. Had that 4% move down yesterday. If that were to ever happen in Microsoft or Apple, then you'd see the NASDAQ down 1.5%, and then people would be worried a little bit.
Question for you, because we were talking about this with really early this morning. Bounced off 180 again. If it gets to 180, it's like now the third time. I like the break short on Apple at 180. Do we actually get a shot at that one this week? Because it feels like I've been staring at that level
this week? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's the 180.
It's $1 away.
It's a buck, but it got within 50 cents yesterday and again bounced. It just, even when it's weak, it'll get to that level.
I don't know if I'm taking that trade.
But I don't know, those breaks on Apple are always tricky. I sometimes find the second time that Apple breaks a level is better than the first time it breaks it, for what it's worth, even if it happens on the same day. But the 180, if we get a red day today, if we don't hold 18,000, I think that's in play today. But as long as we're above 18, I'm not necessarily thinking shorts until we're underneath it.
I'm feeling like maybe fading that NVIDIA 8 bills. All right, let's see. All right, let's go back over to the desk and talk about sound.
Sure.
I mean, I was going to talk about cruise lines, but we can talk about AI if you want to. Yeah, SOUN back higher again today. 47% yesterday for SoundHound. Yeah, there's nothing really to talk about. It's just one of those riding the coattails of NVIDIA and AI, and yeah, maybe a little bit of Reddit help behind that as well. I'm just going to mention this, actually. Norwegian, we haven't talked about these in so long, but a nice look here for Norwegian Cruise Lines, up about $1 here in the pre-market, 10%, 1750 coming in. I mean, this helps. Fuel capacity day, or their cost per day on the fuel side of things, down 19% year over year. So fuel costs going down, bookings going up. Good look for Norwegian.
Yeah, definitely help margins there, Brendo. And also the bookings, the advanced bookings that they have, 56% higher this year in the current quarter than was the case last year in the same quarter. So a lot more exuberance for people to travel. Revenue was up big, about 31% year over year to about almost $2 billion. The street was looking for 1.97. They still did end up turning a loss on the quarter, but they're looking at turning things around because now they're actually forecasting a profit for the current Q1 2024. We'll see how they do, up big.
Yeah, these stocks obviously were a huge trade going back to coming out of the pandemic when things started to reopen again, but haven't really talked about them much. Yeah, Sean, you were mentioning this SOUN back to $7 here, 2 days in a row, straight higher.
Yeah, I was just noticing like a lot of people in the chat were talking about it, and I mean with the kind of volume already. I mean, 30 million shares. Like, I feel like this must have been this big print here. I don't know how much was that. 4 million. Anyways, it's really working out here today. Sound just continues to go to the high side. If I look at a bigger chart, I just wanted to look at it out in E-signal chart, but it looks like our charts are fine on this one. Up to 750 is what's happening right now as SoundHound just looks unbelievable right now, breaking through this $5 level.
That's gone.
I think this is gone. Maybe I like it. What is the short float on this name? I want to look at this today because of the volume and the dollar value. So it's only 12%, which I say only, but it's a good little name there. Weren't they in bed with NVIDIA? Like. Yeah. So now $5, that breakout is pretty solid. I feel like you can play dips into 5 for sure. Let's get going on SoundHound. I mean, this is absolutely. This is starting to go, so this could be one of the next ones. I feel like Fisker right now 62 cents. Okay, the thing about Sound is the market cap on SOUN is only $1.5 billion. I say only, as you know, it's still obviously huge from where it was 2 weeks ago, but this name has a lot of room to run. So SoundHound definitely on the radar here today. I think even maybe the 770 break.
And better yet, they report on Thursday after market. So
29th, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you tune in Thursday for the for the market recap, because we always talk about the market cap size of the earnings, and that's what we care about. But let's be real, SOUN reporting, methinks that's going to be a little bit interesting. That said, I pull out a weekly chart so you can get an idea. Look, $8 looks like the next significant level in here, so I tend to agree. Like in front of the 5, it was a good 5 breakout yesterday. Technically, it was $5.10, breaking that high. So I think dips into that.
Wow, look at this.
It gets to 8. But one last, The 50 period, so the 200 period moving average on NCLH, if it can hold the open around that 17, that actually is kind of a low-key breakout candidate out of this lower range on Norwegian.
So good thing you brought it up. Yeah, the expected move is 33%. So 33% for Soundhound after market close.
Is that all?
On leap day, February 29th, right there. So 33% move. Wow. So you're either going to be like a $2 billion company or a $1 billion company, basically, after all this is said and done.
That's going to be.
We'll wait for that one.
Don't fat finger that aftermarket.
Ooh, man, that's going to be fun. I think we're going to trade that maybe even live on the recap show. All right, what's up over with? Are we going straight to Adara? All right, let's throw it over her at the screen.
MicroStrategy, one of the first upgrades on this list here, getting a price target increase from something in the 600s to 990. So pretty steep price target increase here from the benchmark company for MSTR. Goldman Sachs getting an upgrade here from Edward Jones. Unity getting a price target decrease, but an upgrade here from Piper Sandler. The price target, though, going from $35 to $30. Last but not least, Duolingo getting an upgrade from Seaport Research. For downgrades, Roku getting a downgrade and a fairly steep price target decrease from Wells Fargo, going from 76 to 51. Domino's Pizza getting a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase. ARM getting a downgrade from New Street. And last but not least, Unilever getting a downgrade from Morgan Stanley, guys.
So I saw someone in the chat. First of all, it's interesting, Unity getting an upgrade. They're down 14. Let me double. I don't know. It was 14 or 15% on the earnings.
Yeah.
The guy wasn't necessarily the best. But there was a comment in the chat, and it was something to the effect of nobody talks about MSTR or MicroStrategy, and I was the only one bringing it up yesterday. And I can totally understand that. There are so many things that are going to end up moving as a crypto trade. So like you can express to trade anywhere you want. You can trade BTC, you can directly. You can trade the ETFs. I've been trading Mara. I know you trade Coinbase a lot. There's no wrong answer here. MicroStrategy is going to be another one. They're up 11%. Yes, they recently purchased some more. So yeah, absolutely is it in play. And you can look at, like I said, you can look at any of them. Does MSTR have a different double top breakout on the chart than Mara does? It's an $800 stock. I don't think it's that different in terms of a setup. If you get continuation, they're both potential breakout plays. I just like trading the $30 stock with the short float as opposed to the one with the gigantic spread when we're trading direct equity here. So like you can express trades in a multitude of ways, and we have the ability to do them pretty much all over the place. So I'd rather be looking at Mara here because it's at a very key price level, and it's something that I've traded in the past. But yeah, you can't go wrong with MicroStrategy either if that's your jam. Clearly, at its 52-week high as well.
So whoever mentioned we don't talk about MicroStrategy just outed themselves for not watching the market recap show, because yesterday on the market recap show we had Michael Noss on and we talked all about MSTR. So I say thank you to Michael Noss and the market recap show. And then right here, shout out to Chef Joe. I know he watches the market recap show. Sean's tweets are hot fire this morning. Thank you so much for all of that. Make sure you go grab it at Trader TV, Sean, with the sticky note. And all of that, the number one name on the sticky note, and we're going to get to this because it's on the watch list as well, is going to be, what's up, Ramin, is going to be the Roku short. I really like this name coming into short today with a little bit of that downgrade action happening on Roku. I think it's vulnerable here on the daily. Looks like 65 is going to be the top. We'll get all this garbage out of here, reverse style, and start to go a little bit lower now on Roku. And I said, you know, this break of 60 definitely gets us in to 56, 58 bucks down there. So watch out for Roku. Could be a real good short. Shout out to Ponzi Fonzie.
As we were mentioning when we started off, some retail earnings. I just saw this one popping back up to the downside here on a volume scanner. Macy's, 19 bucks, just let go once again. We held 1880, 1875 on the initial move, but I mean, it's not really doing a heck of a lot. As we said, not a great look as far as their report. They're going to close a bunch of stores, cost cutting in the works here for Macy's.
Announced previously about 2,000 some odd layoffs, Brendo, but that's not where it's going to end off. They're going to basically close 150 unproductive stores. They also want to reinvest that money in the 350 that are actually productive, and then they want to open up more high-end the stores so that their Bloomingdale's brand is their high-end high-end chain, and they want to open about 30 new locations there where the margins are, they say. With respect to how they did, look, they ended up losing about $71 million on the quarter, even though revenue was up nicely about, actually revenue was down, Brendo, about 0.5 billion from that 23 billion that they reported last year. They reported about 22.2 this time around.
Just checking, the last comment I see from the call was 8:30, so this might be the call is over, resume selling type of move here from Macy's.
I mean, it seems like that could be possible here with Macy's. What's wild about it is, like on the daily chart, we always talk about things, you want things trading in new ranges after earnings, like you should be breaking out or breaking down. Well, this stock was in a dollar range, 18.5 to 19.5 for pretty much the entirety of the month. It's wicked in both directions here, so it just needs to settle. It looks like it's heading to the downside, so that could potentially be a short if it can hold underneath 1850. But there's so many other fish to fry. This has done half a million shares. What did you say SOUN was? I mean, tens of millions of shares. Yeah, that's going to be an in-play name. Unity Software on earnings is doing a tremendous amount of volume, down 50%. Could be an SSR play. Zoom is doing a tremendous volume as well. Now you throw in NCLH and I think CCL as well in sympathy after their earnings, which are going to do relative volume. So I don't know that this is the one that I want to go to. Oddly enough, in the retail space, the thing I was looking at was Walmart 60, which is not yet a thing. It's trying to break that former $180 level. So I think if you're holding underneath 1850, this has some room to get to that downside. But it's been a lot of indecision. The call's over, so maybe the volume will start to pick up on Macy's. But I generally do not like stocks on earnings when this is what they're doing going into earnings and you are still very much within the same range after. I need to see you breaking into some new price levels. That's where you get the actual movement and opportunity as a trader.
All right. I mean, this is what we're trying to do is just every day, trade the right names, trade the right action, and be smart about it, and understand your risk. We put this board up here, backed by popular demand. Whoopsies, by popular demand. And it's been great. This is our More Trader TV Live. You can go find it, More Trader TV Live. And we got a super chat there. And I'm just going to leave this out. Hopefully you're watching this right now. I want to switch platforms today, Derek says, from Robinhood. I'm not sure why you want to switch, but that would be another situation. I don't have a Robinhood account. So where can I day trade was less than 25K. Thank you so much. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the United States. I can't really recommend which one would be good. We have Webull and things like that that you might want to look at. I would say, any sort of a smaller brokerage there you can trade with. Go find. I just don't want to really recommend anything because, again, as far as not being really affiliated with anybody, so I don't really have the information on any hot deals or anything that are out there. There's some brokerages that will match like 1% of a deposit or something like that. So maybe you can find that out. So I just want to put that announcement out. Thank you for the super chat, Derek. And hopefully people in our chat will be able to help you. I mean, Interactive Broker.
Yeah, some good ideas there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just go in there and have a quick look, and then hopefully somebody can advise you. And maybe there is a sort of a promo going on somewhere. I always say take advantage.
There's a deal somewhere.
And then ultimately, if you're trading for free, that would matter. But if you're only making a couple trades a quarter, maybe you could pay the $3 or $4 to get better service. You
got to find what fits you, right? So know what you're looking for, and then you can find your advice there. But we're not really affiliated with any others.
So, your research.
All right, let's get into everything else you need to know here as we head towards the open. Sharif, as always, going to kick it off with a look at the futures.
50.80, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday. Current overnight high is 50.90. Let's say if we get above 5,100, let's look for that 51.25 area as a level of resistance to the downside. If we don't break above 5,100 and we break through the overnight low of 50.73, let's say support at 50.50.
Just noting that Big Bear, BBAI, also going along with SoundHound this morning. So all the little AI names to the upside. That's a watch list. TraderTv.live will get that for you. There's a pop-up. You enter your email. It just shows up in your inbox then. Super easy every single day. 208 here coming into play for coin. If you hadn't looked at BTC so far this morning, we almost touched 58,000 early on this morning. Bit of a pullback right now, but yeah, Kathy Wood in there yesterday selling Coinbase to the tune of 6.9 million worth, not a heck of a lot. 444,853 shares of Robinhood being dispatched from ARK as well. So Kathy Wood taking this move upside as a chance to get out of some stuff here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she knows something. Well, maybe she's taking some profit too. All right, with respect to MicroStrategies, they disclosed another purchase of 3,000 Bitcoin at an average price of 51,813. Canaccord Genuity upgrading MicroStrategies today, liking it to the tune of about $975. It's a price target upgrade from 617. So good luck for crypto. Up aggressively overnight, Brenda.
Yeah, we'll see if any of these moves on the equity side of things follow through. Mara, another one having quite the day here.
How are you going to sell if we're supposed to be going to 1 million? Come on, Kathy. I guess you got to take profits somewhere, but
well, it's just Coinbase.
No, I know it's just Coinbase. It's just
buy more Bitcoin, maybe.
Which would make actually that fits in with the strategy that I deploy personally. I was talking about this with Sharif in the morning. Like if I have an individual equity name that I think is getting a little bit frothy in my personal portfolio, if I sell it, I mean, I want my money in the market. That's the entire idea. Like a lot of times I'll just put it, like if I would, let's just make an example here. Like if I owned Mara or Coinbase and was selling some of it because it got frothy, I would put it into Bitcoin because that is like, that's the sector that I feel like it's in. Or, you know, if I was, and sometimes I'll sell, if I sell like Apple or something, I put it right into the queues. Or just jump right back into like the SPY, something along those lines to keep the money in the market. So like something like that could be happening. I suppose it's possible. We talked about all the other names. Coinbase, I just sort of feel like this and Tesla, and we'll get to Tesla. Well, at some point we'll get to Tesla. Tesla broke 200. I like the 200 pullback. Coin kind of looks like the same thing. Like it broke out. You've got an obvious $200 over/under play here, sort of resistance around that 95 zone previously. And now you're breaking it out. So as long as it holds above, and you gotta watch out a little bit for BTC to make sure it's not tanking, but Coinbase will move without BTC, and then that's either direction. Like if BTC goes sideways and Coinbase loses 200, don't think you can't flush $5 into 95 just because BTC is going sideways. You cannot get married to that idea, especially with coin. It's a little bit different for some of the miners, but for Coinbase, that's certainly true. So I kind of feel like the over-under's at the 200, and if it's failing 200, I'd look underneath. But it's just Mara that I'd rather be trading. Mara is in the midst of attempting the breakout. So I feel at this 31 and 32 zone, I like it above 31 longs, and if it's under 31, I'm looking shorts. What are your thoughts on crypto, Randy?
How long it's going to hold, though?
Eva? It is very fancy, real trading.
Yeah, I don't follow crypto that much, but it's hot. It's I don't know.
It's up to 58,000, with the high of being 66 to 69, depending where you look.
What's the risk, though, in your opinion?
Zero.
Zero risk.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we sit here and we watch stocks move. Tesla moves 4 or 5% on a drop of a dime. Yesterday, Google moves 4%. Some of these other stocks are crashing 14, 15, 16% on earnings. What's going to make Bitcoin move that far down? That's what I'm looking for. When the hype stops, and when the hype stops, then you can punch out now at 50,000. You could give yourself a reasonable stop. It's trading like a stock now. We have over 13 ETFs.
And the ETFs now.
No, good point. I just it scares the hell out of me, but
the best thing about Bitcoin is we don't have to worry about earnings.
You don't have as much news that's going to affect it. So it gets very technical when you trade it, and you can rely on that a heck of a lot more.
Good points.
And eventually, it will be a scarce resource. So if people are supporting it, like these ETFs, at some point, there's going to be no more Bitcoin, but these ETFs are still going to exist. So when you go in and buy some of this ETF, and they have to go out and buy more Bitcoin, they have to buy it from holders. They can't just produce more Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying?
And the vast majority of Bitcoin is in the hands of wallets that do not do anything with it but hold, to begin with. So that's already the case, and that has been the case for quite some time.
Bitcoin coffee?
Yes.
Well, I mean, a regular coffee would be good too.
I'll take a Bitcoin coffee for sure. Sprinkle some Cardano on top of that. All right, so right here, we were just talking about Coinbase right there. I was saying 210. It's on the sticky note right here. Watch 58,000 on Bitcoin, right? Feels way overdone in Coinbase. I mean, Aunt Kathy strikes again, honestly. I mean, she was probably long down here, 120, 130. Of course she's selling up here at 200. She's not going to make, Coinbase is the largest holding. She's not going to make that more than 10% of the portfolio. Hello? Yep. Yeah, I told them. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, she's not going to make that a huge percentage of the portfolio. So that's what it is. There it goes. It comes out. Today, obviously kicking yourself that it's up another 6%. But how many shares is ARK still holding? Probably a ton. ARK hasn't been performing that well. But again, on the market recap show yesterday, we did talk about ARK. Right? Michael Noss talked about this. We had a really nice base down here in and around 46 bucks. Now starting to go back up to the upside. Gets hit a little bit today with Roku, with Unity. Zoom is a good one. So I guess it goes back and forth. We'll see what happens with ARK right now, possibly taking out that 55. I mean, maybe, you know, it's been a nice little run for some of these small cap tech names. As long as they don't report, they seem to be fine.
That's the thing.
And then when you do, it's a coin flip, right? So, but yeah, anyways, that's a little bit of talk there about new technology, crypto, and a fun little moment with Randy.
First 30 minutes of the show brought to you by our friends over at Hedgeye. If you want an investing edge trading mega cap stocks like NVIDIA, Amazon, and Tesla, check out Hedgeye's Momentum Stock Tracker. Trader TV viewers get a year of access for only $99 at hedgeye.com/TTV. Sharif and I were just talking about it's Kathy Wood Day on Trader TV, apparently. Zoom up next year on the board, 8.3%. I was just saying, I was down in St. Pete's, not this winter, but the Christmas before. I was mentioning on the podcast as well this weekend. The property that they're building down there is, I mean, when I was there, it was like early days of construction. It was just the fences were up, but it was 2-3 city blocks long.
Wow.
Just massive on their innovation center. So, I mean, she's obviously doing something right, as the guys were mentioning. $68 here, trying to hold for Zoom, though. I mean, 220,400 enterprise customers still using
not bad.
Zoom's platform. Seems high.
I don't know, Brendo, but like I just remember when this grew 100% 5 quarters in a row, when they grew their revenue. So when you have that kind of growth during the pandemic, single-digit growth looks a little mundane. But here's how they did, Brendo. Reported net income of around $300 million. That's a big jump from last year where they reported a net income of $104 million. Revenue grew nicely as well, $1.15 billion. That's a 3% growth year over year. They do well, and they're guiding decent here as well. They're looking for about 2% growth in next quarter.
Rob is here.
Hello, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Yeah, what are we thinking here, guys? I mean, good look for Zoom. A bit of a pullback on the daily chart to 60 bucks, trying to hold. I'm very excited about my coffee. Thank you, Rob. Guys.
Well, there was just a little bit of a discussion as to whose coffee we like better, when Randy brings it or when Rob brings it. But it's like it comes from the same machine. Like you could set it a little bit differently, but like it's.
There are settings. We talked about the $12,000 espresso machine.
But the real thing was, Sean's like, yeah, but
Imagine there was no settings.
But when Randy brings it, it's a little
said
bit
Rob.
cold.
I prefer Rob's.
Because Randy's is cold when he brings it.
Right. Rob puts his heart into it.
Yes, he also comes right back out.
he gets-
Randy chills in the back and is chatting with everybody in the kitchen, so by the time he brings it, it's just a little bit cooler, because Randy's a little social like that. But,
and Rob Stoffel, he has the fun cups, Mr. Perfect. He has the llama ones.
and Randy does.
And Randy, I like the actual, I like the
clear.
original cup as
So
well.
with regards to Zoom today, Zoom is pulled right back in. I was more excited for this if it was still, look, if it could have held 70 to 71, like this actually. I mean, 71, if it could have held on to that, I think he had a chance to break it out here in Zoom. I'm not a huge long-term in here, and I feel like anybody that has exposure to Microsoft feels pretty good that they're not going to be missing anything in the space. But Zoom at the 50 period looks interesting. Maybe you can hold that at the open. There's so much to look at today. And you can look at it in the ether when something's gapping like this. Okay, well, where's it going to bounce? Well, it already bounced once off 67.5. Lo and behold, that's the 50-period moving average on the daily. So it's kind of giving you a little bit of a level here at that price. I think that would be the thing to work off. If it can hold that at the open, maybe you get some kind of a bounce rally. We're going to talk about Unity there, and I feel like they could be an exciting one. I was much more interested in Zoom if it was holding above that 71 for like a clean breakout. Now you're in the dip buy zone. Not as much of a fan of it. Like when I sit down, it looks a heck of a lot different, and it's setting up for a top end break when I sat down this morning. And now it's a completely different trade, which just means I can be very patient with it. There is nothing wrong with being patient, especially at the open.
All right. Yeah, I was just looking at 66 here. You guys know how I trade with the reports. So if we fall back into some levels, we'll definitely have a look there. $66 for Zoom. That was sort of the garbage area, I like to say. There's a whole bunch of trades underneath. We broke above yesterday. We're trying to hold it. So we'll wait to see if it holds $66. And then the best thing to do would be to wait for a VWAP take, I would think. But at the same time, that's 69, so we will take that off the open. Then I'd like to see us hold. So if we hover around and we don't get anywhere near 66, then I feel like at that point, VWAP will be like around 68, 50, 69, depending on where we go for the open. Then we just trade long off that until we break it back below. So I want to watch out for that. We look at VWAP, we look at the 50-period moving average. The 200 is somewhat important, but again, we'll have to let that sort of smooth out a bit. So I'll look at the 50 to get an aggressive trade, and then VWAP to see if we can hold for direction. So we'll wait for Zoom, but it's going to be the same talk pretty much about all these earnings names, because I don't know. I don't know if they're going to sell it. It's only a 6% short float on Zoom. It's up 8%. I think expected was around here. So either way, everybody wins, it looks like, unless you're in the option game. So we'll wait to see what happens here. Up 8%. Pretty much as expected for Zoom.
All right, let's touch on, hey, guess what? Another Kathy Wood name. Unity, the opposite direction. To the downside here, we are starting to bounce. It was, I guess, 28 or 29. I was looking in the pre-market here. 29 was trying to hold. Maybe it was that candle. Back to the downside a little bit here, though. But Unity going in the opposite direction. But as you and I were saying, if you zoom out on a daily chart on this, I mean, this thing's basically done nothing in 2 years.
Yeah, that $25 level, have a look at the daily chart on that, guys. 25 seems to be a key area of support where someone is just buying it over and over and over, many troughs at 25. With respect to how they did, it was really the guide here, Brendo, that sent this one going down. They narrowed their net loss from $288 million last year to $254. They grew revenue $609 million. That's up 35% from last year. But like I said, it was really the guide that sent this one reeling to the downside.
Yeah, a trade possible here, guys, today for Unity?
Well, it already bounced off 27. When you go to the daily chart, so yeah, I mean, you were talking about 25. It's been back and forth, 25 to 50, down. This kind of got down to the 25 level, got into the low 40s, and then you're right back breaking under. But the higher low was at the 27 level, and that's where it's already bounced. So I always think for SSR plays, like if it doesn't break the low, you look for one of those quick little risk, 20 cents on a $27 stock. Probably want to risk less than 25 cents for myself, and then look for a bounce play, especially with 12% short interest. But it's already made that move, so I got to start thinking about the 30 level. So $30 for a potential fade, and the reason I like 30, zoom it back out. You had anytime it's like support, like big support level. I think that's the zone to look for the fade back into it. So if it gets to 30, you start getting into the pocket where it would be a bit of a fade for me. I feel like it's already made the bounce, so I'd be looking for that fade. But it has to get to 30. If you don't want to be wrong until above 30 and a half, 30, 60, maybe even like 31, then it's got to get into that zone. I don't want to be shorting 29.80, and then suddenly it's like $1 against you, and you're like, do I punch out? But it hasn't really busted through what I think should be the zone. No, I have to let this get above $30 before shorting it. But I think this is going to do a tremendous amount of volume today. So if it does retest 27, I'd look for an SSR bounce there. Otherwise, got to be very patient looking for that short up and above the 30 level. Support turning into resistance for Unity. Almost had Zoom.
I was just looking at Google there. We had a question in the chat there about Google. Look, yesterday we had obviously a big move down, broke through the 50 period. We never like to see that, down into 138.50. But you see like this 135, The market seems like it might just be one of these days again where we kind of hover around. We already took VWAP back up to basically pre-market highs. Now we're sitting around the 50 period, probably come back, look at 18,000 again, try to test that bottom. So I like 135 if we really get going again. Yesterday we lost about $4, I think. 144 down to 138. It's a little bit more than that, $5 yesterday. If we lose something like that today into 135, I really like that long there. We have bounced off early dark pool prints and whatnot at 138. So sometimes that could be an indicator. If the market rallies, I feel like they'll go back and start to buy some Google and realize that if you're going to buy any sort of Mag 6 name, I guess. Tesla's obviously, we won't talk about that, but we'll talk about Tesla before the market opens. You know, that's a name that's starting to rebound a little bit. So as people rotate out of, I guess, Google a little bit and back into a name like Tesla that is now well above $200, which, you know, again, there's another one. You know, you buy these dips into, like, we bought 186s or whatever here, and now you're starting to go finally. Tesla, wow, almost, you know, trying to break out right now as we speak. Tesla 204.50 now going back upside. So again, this has already sort of done its damage to the downside. So that's why when I look at a name like Google, I wonder if we're kind of just doing that similar damage right now and trying to bounce off some of these levels. And if it's going to try, it's going to have to happen in the next couple of days, because if you break 135, then you're down to 130, and then we have to try to get back to 140 again. So if it does it now, good. We'll wait for 138, 135, the ultimate bottom on Google, for those of you that asked.
Did you get your Meta glasses?
I did, but they weren't charging, so I had to return them.
Fail.
Shout out Zuck.
Speaking of, Mark Zuckerberg apparently preparing to already show off the next generation of these AR glasses coming up at an event later this year. But the project codenamed Orion in the works already. So as soon, I mean, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing. But as soon as you get them, you're almost ready for the next version of anything tech-wise these days.
Yeah, I want to use them too. We want to do like behind the scenes shoots with the glasses. So hopefully they'll come in. We'll get ones that actually work. But yeah, he was in discussions with the South Korean company Samsung. Obviously, everybody's heard of this. They are also a big time chip maker, and they're talking about making the next gen of AI chips to go on some of their devices. So this is a positive note for both companies. Let's see how they do here.
Yeah, coming off of the Apple launch as well, we'll see if you can shrink the form factor here and still get something that's competitive.
So with regards to Meta is flat right now on the day, which might be sort of indicative of what might happen at the open off this 18,000. We could just go back and forth, but lower highs and lower lows after a failed 490 break is what I see. So try to break out 490. After that failure, there's one lower high, and then now the second yesterday, and sort of the same thing happening. You're getting lower lows each time it retests the lower high. So it's been a little bit trend down. When I see that, it's like, okay, well, you can short in front of that previous top. That'd be 485, 486, or it's just going to break 480 at the open to the downside. So I think this is sort of I don't want to call it obvious, but like Sean just mentioned Google, like I liked Google more yesterday for the short because it was weaker, and I feel the same way about it again today. Like the 140 level is in play, the lower high that we shorted in the afternoon off the 139 is also going to be in play. So I think Google might be a more short the pops, and then Meta's more if it can't hold 480 short underneath that level. But yeah, got to let it maybe break out of the range because it's very flat today, whereas Google being up more gives it the chance to pop back into a resistance zone. So I'm going back to yesterday where I'm just favoring Google trading over Meta, but that 480 is going to be key. It's going to suck if it can't hold that.
To Diane, if you are watching, who has responded to the sticky note, happy Taco Tuesday to you as well. I used to have a pug. It was my first dog, and we love the pug. His name was Guido. So there it is. Happy Taco Tuesday to everybody out there. Is that just every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday? I guess
I think that's how it is, yeah.
I feel like it might as well be.
There's no reason not to be.
Yeah, maybe we'll have tacos tonight. I'll speak
Soft, hard, or both?
So I got the kids recently hard. They actually like them. I'd go with hard again just because we make like burritos a lot where we'll just have the chicken and and the peppers and the fried up onions and all that kind of stuff, and wrap them in the bigger tortilla shells.
What's it called when you melt the cheese on top of it? Something.
Quesadilla?
No, is it? I don't know.
Gordita or something?
So there's a different one. Sorry, say again. Not nachos.
Not nachos,
No, not
come on.
nachos.
Okay, anyways, it doesn't
Hey, it
matter.
doesn't
Happy
matter.
Taco Tuesday. All right, so Meta's at the top here. I'm going to leave it alone until it actually moves. Like Neil said, it's not doing too much. Not too much story here. I'm not super interested. We crushed Meta yesterday, though, into the close. And this is what we're talking about last time. We hit this short yesterday, $4.86 into the close. We took $4 or $5. So let's just let it do the same thing. We'll let it settle down. Meta, again, a major money maker yesterday for us. It wasn't on our radar, wasn't on anything, and we just shorted this 485, 486 yesterday. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a good short again. The market's up today. Meta's not doing anything. I'd say leave it alone until it gives us the obvious trade, which it will. So we'll hit Meta later on during probably the afternoon, but maybe it might be hot again if we take that 490.
No. Let's go to Macy's here real quick. I just want to mention this. SunPower, SPWR, this is a former Squeeze name. New CEO, or CEO departing, I guess, was announced just going back a couple of minutes ago. Clearly no one cares because it fell 10 cents and is back to basically flat. So just be aware for SPWR. Macy's we mentioned briefly earlier, trying to hold on to 19 here. Not a good quarter. More cost cutting coming through. They're closing some stores. Not a good look for Macy's today.
No, Brendo. It was a miss on the top and bottom line. The top line, $8.12 billion in income or revenue. Excuse me. The street was looking for 8.15. With respect to their earnings, they swung a loss of $71 million. Last year on the quarter, they made $508 million. Again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, they're really trying to focus on the stores that are making money. They're going to close the ones that are not, and they really want to focus on their high-end brand where the margins are.
Yeah. Trying to bounce, though, right now, guys, for M.
So we did mention, like, I just want to see this not be in the same range it was for the last month. So if it's not above 19.5 or failing 18.5, I want to put a bit of a pass on Macy's. It can squeeze. It's got a, what is that? It's got a decent enough short float, but it's not gigantic. I mentioned that I like Walmart. Our charts aren't going to be split adjusted. So if I show you like a daily chart or weekly chart of Walmart, it's going to be a little bit skewed. But you can sort of see it on the weekly. You've got a big break on the weekly, and then a consolidation up top, and then that's like a $60 level, the former 180 level. So in retail, I'm kind of eyeballing that one for a 60 break here on Walmart. Macy's, as I said, it needs to get out of the range, and that's a little more exciting. Walmart, I'll go to the 3 minutes so you can see it's consolidating right near that top. This could take 60 at the open. I mean, it could take it any second now. So Walmart's the one that would be on my radar today for retail. That said, Macy's could always break out of the range and then be a little bit less boring.
Yeah, let's hope that does happen. There are already 3,000 views on the sticky note. Thank you so much for that. We have right here Baba. We'll go with a Chinese retailer right now in Alibaba. Yesterday we had some huge trades on Alibaba. Two of them long down there at 76 when those levels hit. So we had bought 76 a couple times right here, right off the open, basically. Well, it was 10 o'clock, or maybe it wasn't even off the open, and then in again on these dip buys. Nice moves upside there for Alibaba. It only gave us 50 cents. So what I'm thinking about is a pullback in. So right now I'm bidding 76.50. We'll see if we get a pullback into that level. Then we'll watch out for 76 there for Alibaba. The other name, of course, I won't be trading any Macy's. Well, I don't want to say I won't, but we always trade Amazon, and Amazon's been good for us. But breaking that 175 has been a little difficult for me lately. We always think it's going to run, and it never does. So today is going to be that day probably because we won't have it. But I'm looking at Amazon here at the 20-minute. Unfortunately, we have this huge wick, which is going to suck. But you're going to see right here, this 176 has been a high. And then if we lose, maybe I'll just zoom in here. Yeah, this wick sucks. But there it is right there. I was going to show you this 172 area. If we wind up losing that on Amazon, then I think we make a decent move back into possibly 160 area. Watch out for 167. But I don't think we're there yet. And I don't think the NASDAQ... Is today the day when the NASDAQ really comes in? Well, I guess we're going to find out. So that's what that is. long-term portfolio. So we talked about that. What's up to crap stock in the chat there? Look, we're long Pan W down here at 270, right? The thing about it, if you're going to talk about long-term trades, you want to wait for a good company to kind of miss. You know, and we talked about Pan W coming down in, and if this loads up, the 200 period moving average. Again, we talked about this on the market recap show, which yesterday was pretty awesome. It touched the 200 period, we bought it, and now you're back up. I think if you're going long term, you don't get out now, but if you're swing trading, you get out of something as you're touching the 50 period moving average. So I would say if you're a long-term investor, and we're not giving financial advice, nor are we, certified to do so, but for myself personally, you're looking for dividend, you're looking for blue chip names, potentially investing in ETFs so you don't actually have to pick stocks, nibble a little bit at the NASDAQ, maybe buy some XLE and some oil, take some financial XLF or whatever, but please do your own research and figure out what your time frames are.
Yeah, if you were making a technical trade, like if I was making a swing trade, technically the 200 period to the 50 period in a couple of days for 25% or 20%, that's not, like I would take it, but long term. I want a couple of things. We didn't really talk much about the chips this morning unless you were here really early, so I'm just going to go over a couple of things. So yesterday, again, 43.5. You can see the zone on Intel. It's about $1 worth of range, getting down to 42.65 at its lowest, and kind of the 65 is the top. So once it gets into that 43.5, that's sort of the short zone. Look for the turn and failure. The 42.5 has been a support zone for Intel. I want to stick to that one as long as it's working. NVIDIA was shorting it late in the afternoon. A couple of times there in the 94s, like the 93s and 94s for some pushes to the downside. But the 805 is now 2 days in a row. Failed breakout, and then you've got this 805 a couple times. If it presses at the open, I'd put that into the pop and fade notion as well. And then we briefly mentioned Tesla here. I don't think we see the 198 again, but maybe the 200 area, looking for some dip buys in Tesla if we're going to come back in here. Tesla's at resistance at that 205. So I think if you're looking for shorts, it's at the level where you would probably anticipate it at that 05. If it can bounce off the 200, I do like that. And we had already mentioned Apple in the 180 level. Apple has bounced several times off of $180. It's at 181. I'm gonna be taking that break. Although I said earlier, you know what? It didn't get to 180 yesterday, so I don't need to show that to you. I feel like the second time might be better than the first. If I take a short at Apple 180 as that's breaking, and let's say it pops back in, pops back to the upside, take it out for a hit. If it gets down there again, I take the break the second time. And I might even take it a third time. So like that 180 level's been a significant one. It's been bouncing, but when it breaks, I'm going to be taking some shots at it on Apple. It has more to do with the momentum and nothing to do with what I feel about the stock. I still think it's a good one. No questions about that. SOUN is actually weirdly slowly taking the stairs up right now. So watching it hold this $7 level, I think there's room to 8 on the daily chart. But with these, you always have to withstand that opening salvo when something gaps up and there's anybody that held it overnight, or like if you took it overnight or you got it early in the morning and you want to sell into the euphoria at the open. I always think you have to weather that storm, and that feels like you could be under the $7 level, back into 650 for SOUM. Let's go quickly back to the desk. No?
Don't forget today on How to Trade with Adair and I, we're going to be talking about Elliott wave theory. Yesterday we started out with Dow theory, the natural extension. Elliott wave is one of the best topics for day traders and swing traders. Make sure to check it out with Adair and I today on How to Trade.
There you go. Thank you very much. Oh, it's 9:28 in here. I don't know if, did you show the imbalances?
No, I didn't even look at them myself yet.
It's really, so it's basically CCL and NCLH. Like a CCL 900,000 to the upside, and NCLH 400,000 to the upside. That's about it. So it was a Norwegian that reported. It looks like the bigger imbalance there for Carnival Cruise Lines. But we got some serious names to watch this morning. I omitted ARM from that little talk about the chips because it's nowhere near the $150 level. We said earlier, the first thing we said about the chips is like ARM at the 150 for a fade if it gets back up there, and then 165 on the daily is the other big level for ARM. So that's going to be on watch again today. Add that to NVIDIA and Intel for myself. Unity could be an SSR bounce if it retests that 27 as well.
No, that was not a 10-year-old. That was Sharif right there on the chat. So just for you guys wondering who that was doing that. Okay, so all right. I was just looking. We're gonna have to wait to see what happens here. But yeah, I am looking at that arm to start off with. We'll see if there's something happening there right off the open. I like a 144 short. Looks like we're gonna try to break that right off the jump, but. I mean, how much do you give it? 146? I mean, it's going to be very, very dangerous. Slippery slope right there. We're waiting to short some Roku as well, up at 64. That could fly in at any moment. So there's a few things here that we got to pay attention to real early. So watch out for Roku flying higher and ARM flying lower with only 10 seconds to go. It's a Dara on the bell.
Yeah, Dara on the bell on this Taco Tuesday in
Yes, sir.
3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
All right, we're open, so let's go. All right, we're going to watch out for Roku there. We talked about ARM possibly breaking a little bit lower, and we'll take that if it does happen. But we're going to have to wait for that for right now as it's not breaking yet. ARM right now a little bit lower is what we're waiting for on a possible break for ARM through 144. And Roku's open, but not moving. It's going downside. Uh-oh. We just got in. It was ARM. ARM just broke. So now let's wait to see how far we go down on ARM. We are now short right here, right now on ARM.
Yeah, we're getting Tesla's pulling back off of 205 here. Looks like it's not pulling back all that far. Unity is still blowing it out a little bit. Here comes a press up in Tesla. There's a big size at the 205 on Tesla. I didn't get a great look at it, probably like 150,000 shares. Looks like that could be testing a 205 break really, really early here. I thought we'd get a dip buy first, but looks like it's going to break 05s right now.
Wow, okay, Tesla, really hot fire. All right, ARM's not really doing too much. We're going to have to let this settle down. We are bidding 143. If we could take 70 cents right away, we'll try to do that for sure. Doesn't look like it wants to go down. It's trying. There it is. What do you mean? Doesn't look like it wants to go down. What are we kidding here? Right there. Take a quick 70 cents on that. Get out of a quarter of it. My stop on this one, 146.50-ish. I put 147, so that's what we're going to look to get out on that one. So we'll go 1 for 1 real quick. And then, of course, Roku, as I ignore it, is starting to go to the downside. So watch out here. I'm still waiting for 64, but there is the flush on Roku. So far, so good here on ARM. That's the only thing we've got right now, and then we'll wait out for Alibaba, which is going upside. Coinbase, are you in Mara yet? Coinbase?
No Mara yet.
Coinbase
no
falling. Okay.
I like the dip better on Tesla, but we said we'd take the 05 if it tried to go. It got about a half. I was risking about to the $0.50, but it never broke the $0.50 to the upside. I was offering just above the 06s to get a bigger move. Nothing just yet. Apple, we did mention I will take it if it breaks 180, but it's not breaking 180 if it goes up $1 at the open. So I've got to be patient here because the short I want on Intel, it's not really popping. I might actually go for the pre-market high short on Intel. That has generally been the secondary setup for Intel as we are going back to the desk with Adara.
Viking Therapeutics getting a massive pop with volume here right off the open. This one trading higher after announcing some positive results for its weight loss treatment. This one is actually not a small cap necessarily. It does have a market cap of almost $4 billion, and it does have a short float of about 12.9%, so keep that in mind. VKTX, guys.
ARM is starting to go back to the upside right here. So it's a good thing we cashed out of a little bit of this thing. ARM up to one.
Nvidia is tanking.
Is it? Okay, well, ARM just went. I tried to get a little more short there on ARM ahead of this. Let's just punch some short there. We still have, we're fine. We'll take a little bit more short there in ARM and see if it wants to go back down. We actually just punched into 53. That's how bad the spread was as we sat there and tried to get 146 but missed it. Remember, our stop is going to be in and around this 147 area, which is VWAP, and it's getting close to getting up there. So we'll have to be very, very careful about this ARM trade for now. And again, we're not dying on a sword here. If this breaks higher, we'll get out and then fire a couple more bullets. But already 1 for 1, but definitely sitting in this trade, which is now $1 against us. So watch out here.
Baba just tagged 78.
Oh my God, Alibaba's so hot fire, man. We talked about that one the last couple of days, and here goes Palantir breaking through 24.50 as well. Palantir really getting going now. Looks like a good break level here on PLTR 24.50. That's probably worth taking. Let's see what happens here with Palantir. ARM right now is getting close to that stop out, so watch out for this one. I'm going to try to, Roku's bouncing back a little bit. It's funny because the futures really aren't doing anything right now. Okay, there goes ARM. So ARM is getting excited. We're now out. Did that even break 47 there? We got out. Oh, I did. Okay, we got out just slightly over 47. We still have a little piece, but ARM's definitely getting excited. We may have to wait for this one to come back a little bit. We'll hold a little piece, but ARM right now having a day up at 147. So 1 for 1 and then 0 for 1. So it'll be an L here on ARM. Let's see what happens on this high side.
Yeah, I waited for this one for weeks and then threw this one like individually in a tweet, the 78 level on Alibaba if we come to my daily chart. So there it is. It broke it. It's going sideways off this break. The volume's okay, but the follow-through is simply not there. I am in Intel to the short side, by the way, as well, but this one looks like it could come back in and stop out. So I want to look at that daily chart. If we can't hold this breakout, I'll take another shot on the dip buy. Tesla was a good out, as that is continuing to come back in here. It's now at the 03 level. Never want to hold on to a breakout trade forever. Give it a tight stop and then look for the potential dip buy. So I'm just in an Intel short, and now Mara's starting to go.
We just took $1.
Okay, Mara's going.
What do you got? I got short Coinbase right now. I don't know what you have on board right now.
Just Intel short.
Intel short. Okay, so we just took Coinbase there, short 209.50, out 208.60 for 80 cents. Let's see if this one wants to go. We're going to get out if it takes out 210.50 on Coinbase. So we're going to put out, here it comes right now. So that was a good out down there at 208.60 on Coinbase. We're starting to go right now. So there it is, man. 57.1 right now on BTC. Congratulations to everybody over on that side of the table. All right, like we told you, man, we got out at 65%, 75% of ARM, but it's making the move back in right now beautifully, coming right back into 144. We're $2.50 in the money right now on ARM. Let's go. Holy crap, we're $4 in the money. Thank you, Randy. We are $4 in the money on Coinbase. It is Sticky Note Nation. We talked about 210. There it is right there. Hopefully you've got it. Bang for Coinbase right now. $5 in the money on a posted sticky note level. $3 in the money on ARM, $5 in the money on Coinbase. Damn right I'll have half this cookie. We earned it today. There you go, Neil. It's a good one. There it is, Coinbase. Boom, right there.
It's a spicy meatball.
It was a very spicy meatball indeed. If you like plain meatballs, Coinbase ain't for you. There's a spicy one. Good look on that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, market is now bouncing off that 18,000, so you got to be in the right names here. I got Intel to the short side. I'm taking some profit out in front of 43. Mara at the same time failed the breakout, but is looking a little bit stronger. If I see Coinbase drop $5 and Mara hold the top end of the range here, up 50 cents, then I still think this is relatively strong. So if it's not breaking down, I'm not thinking it's a short. At this point, if it holds at 32, got to start thinking about the breakout here because that did not drop nearly as much as Coinbase. More up 11% to Coinbase is 7 as we go to Adara. What? Oh, never mind. So apparently we're not going to Adara. Mark is trying to break this top.
We're trying to watch ARM, man. ARM is now $4 in the money. It's too bad that we got stopped out there at 147. We talked about that. What was the high there on that move? Was one...
It didn't get to 50, I promise.
Oh, definitely. No, I was watching it because I was trying to reshort it.
Yeah, I was waiting.
My stop out above the 200 period. What are we going to do? Wow. Okay, now we're really starting to get going here, man. Coinbase, ARM, really starting to make that move back in. Let's just take a piece here if we can get it. If we can get it. Nice trade there. Again, congratulations if you had that 144, but that sucks where we wound up getting out. But again, we're going to manage our positions right here. Be green on the day, but that's because we had that Coinbase trade. By the way, Coinbase, look at that bottom. We have today so far the top and pretty much, I mean, we just, obviously the bottom was right there off open.
Look at right at
50, we're starting to go, by the way. Like this is probably going to break that 210 area. 57.3 right now on crypto. Like congratulations, man, if anybody, if you're watching the show, hopefully you're hella long. I came here dressed, up as a Bitcoin on Halloween. and it was $34,000, and we acted like a fool and told everybody to buy crypto. And now you're almost at a double since Halloween. So let's go, man. We are now I mean, this has been a great day, needless to say so far. That's crazy that we got stopped out up there on ARM, but whatever. We got stopped out $5 ago, and now we're in a $4 winner. It's continuously going to the downside there. Coinbase, $4. Yeah, let's flush that down. Two $4 winners on board right here.
Quick note, 18,000 gone on the NASDAQ just now. We just broke the $18,000 level. Meta went exactly to that local high. I said it's either breaking down at 480 or it has to get up to yesterday's local high at 486. It topped pretty much exactly there, so we got the short back under through 486, just as planned. You want that over-under trade, get it on the back end. If it bounces 482, that's previous close. You know that's where I like to take my targets. Now we will go to Adair. That's about $1.20 in the money, but I want 482. We've already scalped some out. Intel continues to flush. It just broke 43 even. Adair?
Look for Pyxis Oncology right off the open here. PYXS on the NASDAQ. This one announcing a $50 million private placement at $478 per share. PYXS. Nice move to the upside, guys.
ARM just touched 140.50 right there. $5 in the money ARM, $4 in the money Coinbase, and this day is just getting started. So hopefully everyone is enjoying themselves here today, because we're not even anywhere near done what I think is going to happen. All right, Coinbase. I'm not getting out of anything. We're just going to hold on. 57.2. I mean, I thought, with where we are in the market here, I thought Coinbase would have been through now. Bitcoin's holding, so like I thought, Coinbase a little overheated up at some of these levels. And look, we're now $4 in the money and not taking it, right? We already took 450 right here. Now we're 450 in the money. We're also $6 in the money on ARM. And if you guys are saying, like, you know, where are these plays coming from? It's quite free and quite obvious. It's right here, man. We have ARM 144 short. ARM's at 140. We have Coinbase 210 short. That's literally what we have in our blotter right now. So, I mean, so far so good here. Both are $5. ARM is $6 in the money, and Coinbase right now is $4. So far so good here today. Let's just see how low we can go, man. I wonder if ARM can even get back in. Like, that's crazy that we have that tick, by the way, but that is what it is. But there it is, man, right there, all the way back in. It's a good thing we held 25%, but at the same time, bad out, good hold. So that's what's going to happen. So nice move so far here today. Let's just see if we can continue the rally in some of these names.
Yeah, but take your profit where you can and stick to your plan. That's what it's all about. That's why Sean has a note out there. That's why I have my mix, and try to stick to that as best as you can, which means Intel gets to the bottom end of the range, then I got to start taking some profit out. And when the other thing is, while we stick to the plan and ring the register, I'm jumping out of Meta. I said I'd get out in front of 482. Meta held 480. Remember, 480 is that key price. Holding 480, it goes bullish into the 486. Short it, 86s, down into 82. I'll take the $3 and run there. Look for the next trade in Meta, because it's holding higher lows. That's a key 480 level. Mara, I'm looking up at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now pulling back. Mara is now breaking down underneath that 31.5 zone. So Bitcoin pulling back off 57.5 a second time here. Let's see if it can take a little bit of a bid. Unity Software, we thought there'd be something. I like 27 for the SSR bounce. It got to 27.70 and is now absolutely flying. So Unity, it's bouncing, and it is a good long off that level, but it wasn't close enough for me to get in. I wasn't going to risk $1 on Unity, no chance.
No, Unity is very, very risky. We took a brand new position in Square, and it immediately went down as soon as we got it. It went down into 40s for us, so it was like 20 cents in the money pretty much immediately, and then made a big move back up. So we're in this little bit of a volatile name, and I just want to take it against 77. But again, the market's tanking down and Square is well up. So I'm kind of trying like a reverse kind of play here to see if there is going to be some movement there on Square in case it's just overextended. But we're getting out to the upside, right? We're going to get out if it breaks 77. I mean, there's no... the damage is being done. Good trade on Meta, $6 on ARM, $3 on Coin. I understand that
Apple's coming.
You may want Apple's coming in. Yeah, I mean everything probably. Just be careful with all of these plays, man, including some of the longs. We talked about potentially, you know, one of these days is going to be like this, and right now we're just trying. It's only 50 handles down from that 18. So just be careful. Palantir bounced off of that level that we talked about, 2380. Yesterday we were looking at 2250, but you know, in the pre-market we mentioned how crazy Palantir was going up to that 2450. We wrote it down on the sticky note. If I can follow you, that's right, I threw it. If I could find, here it is right here. We talked about, dips into 23. So we're gonna have to wait for that one right now, as Square is the only one that's in a problem state here. I still think ARM breaks. That's so, we could have been really having a day there, but all right, we'll wait to see now with the rest of this. But here we go, ARM trying to break lower. We're finally into Square now, have a decent size. So if this can fall back in, we'll get something out around 50. But again, we're holding for 25 cents. So we have to take some profit, as we keep saying, take some profit where it lies if you have that opportunity.
I mean, look, AMD's down 2%. It is absolutely flushing. NVIDIA just got to 773. Oh my goodness, NVIDIA's trying to bounce now. I think this is a short the pop scenario on most of these. I'm already in Intel. My eyeballs are on NVIDIA. I mean, you can look at AMD as well. I'm going to cancel my, I don't need the 805. Obviously, it never gave you a shot at that. 780 was the key support level the last time we failed down here. So about that 780 is where the buying accelerated. So that's where I anticipate you could have a little bit of a turnaround. So I'm going to be eyeballing NVIDIA. Once where I said underneath 18,000, I'm not really looking for long trades. Underneath 18,000, I'm going to be looking for shorts. So if I missed NVIDIA higher, I got to try to pick it up at that 780 area first. Looks like we had a good out on Meta. That is trying to bounce back up. I don't know if we get the 86 again. It's going to pop to the 3-minute for you. But it held pretty much the exact bottom right in front of that pre-market high. Could always jump back into this. The 480 level, I think, is support until proven otherwise. Intel's still at the low of the day, as well as we're going to Adara. Oh, Mara 31 break.
Another earnings name here moving today, Hims and Hers Health, HIMS is going to be the ticker on the NYSE. This one up over 25% after posting unexpected profit and a sales beat. So good look here for HIMS continuing to climb new 52-week highs, guys.
It's $7. Yeah, $7 in the money ARM, $6 in the money coin, and a red fail there on Square. Look what just happened on Square. I got a 50 fill, right? Then it broke out through 77 and went as high as 77.30. So we got some good fills up there, but that was, I mean, we got a good fill because it broke 77. We didn't have to get, we got 77.02. So that was a good fill, but wow, that started to go. Thankfully, we're gonna have a monster trade here, it looks like, on Coinbase. So we'll have to wait for that one. We'll see if we can get 10 plus on that. So far, so good on that one. And then, of course, ARM with the biggest and baddest trade of them all for me down here to 139. We'll see if it can still hold some of these levels. Maybe get out if we get back up to like 141, and then we'll take some of that out, and then we'll just regroup it on ARM, which it looks like it's trying to go right now. I haven't had good outs, remember, on these when they start to go. So we'll put it out there, 141 and change, just in case the market rallies. We shorted this name. We got stopped out there, which was silly of me. But again, it broke the 200 with that kind of a short float, or low float. You know, that could keep going, and I'm not letting one day be the end of that, or one trade. All right, so Pan W 319, good move there, up 5. Wow, that continues to go. Is Google holding out on this move? I don't think so, right? Oh, Google's still positive. So there you go, man. Talk about it holding. Nice hold there early on Google, really? 137.70, yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
Me too, I'm very surprised by that.
So quickly, I had the break right before it went to Adara. Mara broke the 31 level. It took out the pre-market low. It broke 31s. It got all the way down to 30.70 here, 68 technically, but I got out at 70 and then broke back up. So I covered it. It was a very quick flash to the downside. Happened in less than 20 or 30 seconds. If it holds underneath 31.5 and I see it's under 57,000, I'll keep looking at BTC just to follow it. Underneath the pre-market lows, I want to be looking for more shorts. Tesla's back up to 205 here. So this is looking pretty spicy for potential breakout, secondary breakout trade. And shout out to everybody that's still in SOUN. Remember, 650? 650, it holds on the bounce right back into the pre-market low. You have to withstand that selling at the open on these types of names. If it puts in a higher low at 7, this bad boy could be gone. The 730 breaks in play, but it already went up and down through that level once. I'd rather have it off of the $7 level on SOUN. So Intel's still at the lows. It's trying to bounce here. If I reload it, it should be around VWAP and 43 even on any kind of a bounce. Tesla, here comes round 2 through the 205. Can it actually break it this time? That's the real question.
Yeah, the real question too is that why the hell did I just get filled long square all the way down here when we got stopped out at the top of 77 break, and now there's our 30, 40 cents in the money on square, but we had to withstand that lousy break higher. That's twice that's happened to us, man. It happened to us on ARM, and now it just happened to us on Square, but that's okay. We'll take it back in. We do have a new position alert. It is one of my favorite stocks in a long-term portfolio as well, potentially for you guys, would be Palantir. So there it is. We already got a piece out at 98. We'll see if we can go a little bit higher right now. Then that, and then we'll wait. We're at 24.05 on a little bit of a break, and then VWAP's up there at 12. That would be pretty nice. We're holding it against this 80. So there it is, man. We just got doubled up down there. We got a whole bunch of fills as that came right back in. We're watching out for ARM. We have our stop there. Coinbase is just $7 in the money. And again, this is off of a 210. Look at the high on Coinbase today. It's 210.23. Here on today's sticky note, it says Coinbase short. Here. I'm I'm proud of this. You guys might know that. There it is, Coinbase short 210. Right there. So now it's $8 in the money off that. So we gotta see if we can make this spin a little bit here. But Palantir is heading to the downside against a market that's been strong. So I feel like we bought the dip in Palantir. The market reacted properly, but the stock did not. So maybe Kathy's in here selling this name to buy more Roku or something. Let's go over to the desk and find out what exactly is up with Adara.
Bit of a reversal here right now. We just dropped about 4%, but GOTU still up about 6% here after reporting stronger than expected earnings across the board. So GOTU very much to the upside, guys.
Okay.
So the new position alert for me is going to be, as I said, the next thing was likely to be NVIDIA. It just made the curl right up here, broke the 80 level, then made this pop. VWAP doesn't necessarily matter this early, but you can see it curled right at 82s. I grabbed the short 81 halves, want to get some out in front of 79s and play to 75s. I want to get into, I want to say I want to get back into Mara, and the second I say it, I got the fill. It's funny how that works sometimes. Mara retaking the 31 break to the downside, so I'm back in it, going to give it right down into that local bottom. It was about 30.60 that it held. So for now, looking a little bit weak on Mara. We'll see what goes on with this Intel trade, but it's just sort of hanging at the lows. It's a bit frustrating because it's now started to slow down here. Like you can see, like it was dropping like a rock. Now it's like slowly grinding down. The 42 half is still going to be the target there. NVIDIA starting to roll back down through that 780 level. I am trying to grab this okay, never mind. Just got 779 there on NVIDIA, so that continues to flush to the downside. Look, the market's holding underneath 18,000. And when that's happening, if any bounce play that doesn't get us back into 18,000, I think is an opportunity to jump into some shorts, which are paying off right now. So I'm still in Intel. I got a leg out in NVIDIA, but Mara is showing signs of strength. So I want to stick to what's working a little bit better. I jump back into the Mara trade. It doesn't hold the bottom end of the range. So we'll kind of go 1 for 2 on Mara. But the chip names have been all good to the south side, so we'll hang on to those two. Intel now breaking the low of the day. Oh, SOUN, that was the other thing. This is the thing. A guy said I liked SOUN if it can hold bouncing off of VWAP. It's consolidating in a 10-cent range. It's not holding a 10-cent range for long, everybody. Either retest down here $7 in VWAP, or it's just going to blow out this top. I prefer the dip buy on stocks like this. I've said this time and time again. I'd rather be buying a dip than trying to punch in through the high of the day and risk that quadunk action that we see so very often, as Sharif always says.
Yeah, Sharif always says quadunk for sure. Okay, so we're back into Palantir. We were watching Coinbase. We said we would be in Coinbase. I mean, it's just ripped up here pretty violently, all the way back up. So now that we've seen this bottom twice, 202, I mean, that's a huge move back up right here. So definitely giving me a little bit of pause for concern on that one as it's made that move back up. We said we would ride or die with this, so and we've definitely rode with it, not died with it. We're already playing with house money. We cannot be red on this name. So we're going to give it up to, we talked about that 210 break. So 210.50 was initially where our break spot was going to be on this one. As there goes Bitcoin. Bitcoin did bottom out about 56.7. We were watching it. Now it's starting to go 56.9, 56.950. There we go, man. Starting to get back to the upside is crypto, which is pretty good for this Palantir trade. I mean, could we wind up being in the money nicely here on Palantir? The answer is yes. We are now nicely in the money on Palantir, and we put this name right back into green. So there it is. We did have that. We waited for it. Good patience up there at 98. Now Palantir goes green and back up, well, green on the trade side of things. It's green on the day, up 1.7%. Remember our ARM trade? I mean, if it breaks here, we're getting out. We just dipped down into 139. I mean, to risk $2, possibly back down to the bottom, I think it's worth it just to hold out for this. So a little bit of a break higher on that one. We're going to have to watch out. I'm going to get out one more piece upside there on Palantir. We'll take a 98 right now as it just continues to march a bit higher here. So let's see. Let's see. Does it have the ability to get back up to today's high? Of course it does. So let's give it that room right now. I am waiting.
Breathe.
Yeah, exactly. This has a good pedigree. This has a good opportunity to do that. So let's just put an offer at like 24.03 in case we get that break and a fail. But right now, that's what we're on. We're on Palantir.
So a quick note, NVIDIA got the fill 779, took the 2.5 on it, but once I get first target, tighten the stop up to the lower high, which is essentially where I got in. That was 781.5, so end up break even. It snaps back up to 783. I'm gonna let this one calm down. If it can hold the 783, I might look for that short one more time, but watch out Tesla. So we took the hit going for the long on Tesla, risking about 60 pennies on that breakout trade. Now it's trying to put in a higher low. So there's your wipeout bottom. If it holds the higher low, I think we go for the long again, but as you see, it's starting to break down. So I was about to tell you, it was holding on to 204. If it can't hold on to this area here, I'm not looking for the long. Meta, I mean, we got out of Meta. It doesn't give the 486 short again, but it also doesn't break down. Like it's just going sideways off 482.5. So I have to be really, really patient. You want to lock in the profits, but then don't make the next trade until the next trade presents itself. No need to force things, which does bring me back to SOUN, which is not bouncing down to 7 even, where I was looking for the entry. It just seems like SOUN wants to break out the top. I'll play a false break. If it breaks out the high, I'll look for the dip off of the breakout the high. I just don't want to take the top break on the stock, as I've said twice now.
Yeah. Okay. We're just back in another name, and it's a banger right here so far, man. We're 25 cents in the money. Let's see how far it goes. Right now with AMD, our stop, guys, is 50s. So I'm pretty conservative play right now. We'll get some more averaged in and around here in the high 20s. Something like that, and then wait to see what happens back in and around 50 for AMD, because again, it's right at VWAP. Here it goes. Nice move up. We'll take a 27 fill. Average price right now 24s on AMD against 50. So a little bit of a fallback in, and we'll get some out because that'll be about 1-to-1 on that. And then if we do break too much lower into 173, then we'll have a problem that we'll like to have, right? So let's see if that continues to go. But AMD right now, we'll play it. It's against under, well, it's at VWAP. It's down 1%. The market's under, but trying to breathe a little higher here. So here goes AMD. We just take a 38. We are now short at 32s. Our stop is 50. Here it goes. There it is, and there it is. So that's it. We are now out of AMD as it rips back up for that 20-cent hit. It's 10 o'clock, so I'm fine taking these shots now. I feel like it's not super early and that we've been given sort of the playbook here for the day. So right now, Palantir continuing to go. There it is, man. Here's the play for Palantir. We're trying to get something out at 03. We'll see if that does happen. We called the 03s, and there it is, man, as we wait around on EdgeX. Thank you so much for that one, Professor. And we will spin the money around there as Palantir. First shot red, second shot green. Good one there. I agree, man. AMD is weak, United Brothers, but unfortunately, it's going to the upside right now. But the market's going for a run.
There's still red. The market's still bouncing. The market, we're getting to 18,000 as we speak. So, this is the area. If we break out 18,000,
against 175.
Maybe you look for the long. But at that level, I'm looking short. I said if you get back to 18,000, I'm looking to add 2 short positions. Intel's at the low of the day, so I don't see any opportunity to add when it's literally off the lows. But 785 on NVIDIA is the next level up here. So that's where I'm going to have my eyeballs. It's getting my stop in. And Meta's the other thing here. It's now holding a lower high at 484, so I want to adjust on Meta as well. Going back to the well, like the first two things that work the best, or the wells I'm going back to for the show. Well, I mean Intel, but Intel's not setting up right now. So I'm going to try and get this 484 off this 18,000 level, and then similar thing with NVIDIA off of 85. It just did the little wick shimmy dance here on NVIDIA.
Like those wick shimmy dances. Okay, so just real quickly here, guys. We are out now of ARM, so we just talked about that one as we're trying to find out to see if there's anything else happening. Yeah, so ARM breaks above that 140-150 there. That's where we got out, 140-150. We actually got a 56 fill, so that was pretty good right there. Now we are out of 3/4. I don't remember how many shares we had. Palantir, we talked about that 03 level, and then we just got a whole bunch more out there at VWAP, which was 10s, 11s. Sorry, we got out 7s and 8s. VWAP is 10s, is 9s. So we did pretty good to get out of that one. We're still going to hold on to Coinbase right now, just to see. We are bidding 202. If we can get $8 on that, we'll do that, man. Crypto just bounced. Well, actually, now crypto's going
right back down.
Yeah, it's right back down.
Lower high.
All right.
I'd hope. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll just figure it out.
Looks good. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's still good. I just
before we
those funny things, of course.
What I'm sort of getting at as we're talking out loud here to each other is the BTC is putting in a lower high here at 57.1, and underneath that 57,000 level. So I kind of like 57.5. 57, 56, 6. I mean, it is what it is, but it looks like it's taking the stairs to the downside, to each their own, but that's sort of all I was getting at there. I did not get into Meta. I'm getting myself in my ear sometimes. But I got the 784 pullback on NVIDIA, but look what's happening here. I do not want to reload this again. So now you're suddenly breaking back out. This is my stop. So once it broke the stop, I'm out. Very, very, very quickly out. So we got take profit and then stopped out. We got 84s down to 82.5 on NVIDIA, and then immediately right back up. So this is really strong. So I was quickly saying I'm not reloading this stock in that kind of a setup. Not going to happen. Let's let this calm down. 18,000 just went to the upside, so that's going to be me jumping out of the trade. Intel is going to be a different story because, I mean, Intel is still at VWAP at this 43 level. So let's go to Adara for happening now.
We have numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
Quite a few numbers here, most of them coming in lower than expected. CB Consumer Confidence, 106.7 versus the forecast of 115. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index at -5 versus the forecast of 3. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Shipments Index, -15 versus -9. Last but not least here, Fed Services Index, -16 versus the forecast of 7. So pretty much downside across the board here for these numbers. The market, I have the SPY up here getting a bit of a pop, as you can see, still more or less flat on the day here for the SPY at the very least. Your Bitcoin, though, of course, a lot of these crypto-related stocks moving as Bitcoin surpasses that 57,000 level. So certainly something to keep an eye on with regards to the markets today. In terms of other names to keep an eye on, Unity getting a little bit of a recovery here, but still down almost 9% after reporting an EPS miss and a sales beat. So a bit of a mixed performance here from you on the NY. Macy's also initially trading lower, now very much trading higher after reporting its earnings. Specifically worth noting is a bit of a weaker guidance here going forward for M.
Yeah, this market is getting heated up right now. So AMD breaks above 175, so that short does not work out. That is for sure. Palantir is still fine. Coinbase is still fine. ARM and AMD today will be slight problems. Well, no. ARM's not a problem at all. AMD is the problem, as we just shorted it. Remember, we're trying not to be stubborn, but there's the 50-period moving average, so we do follow our rules a little bit right there, as the market is definitely off right now, back up to 18,000. I do think it's worth a small short back in right now because of that 18,000 marker, but no other reasons because of that. Like, if we just keep going on this, we'll punch out now at this recent high, which I think is 40s or so there. But yeah, nice move up to 18. We just touched 18.2 into some of these pre-market highs on a number. So I feel like it might be worth a little bit of a risk spot here for that. We'll wait to see if ARM can get back up again into 144, which just happens to be where VWAP is right now. Good little look on Unity, man. We talked about that earlier today as well.
Fine,
that's 30. Now you have a $30 marker, so maybe you watch out for that right here.
I'll be disappointed in Unity because it just, It did give the
Square,
SSR bounce per se, like it's a good bounce play, but it never really gave the entry that I would have liked. I'm into SOUN. I said I wanted this. If it broke the high and then pull back, I'd go into the dip buy. So let's see if it gets down into VWAP. I just took some at the 60s. You've got the breakout was technically more along the lines of 730. So if it gets under 20s, I'm out. This thing has room to 8. 8 is a key level on the daily, so I wanted to be long into 8 as opposed to taking a breakout at 8. I reloaded Intel because Intel was the only thing. You saw what happened in NVIDIA. Like I got $1.50 profit, and 5 seconds later it was $2 higher, and I was punching out. But Intel's at VWAP and actually still failing. So looking relatively weak here in Intel, that's what I want to see. And we'll get some bids out as it starts to get back down off of VWAP. Apple, I mean, at some point, it's just a long off 180 as well. I'm just going to throw that out there. Keep talking about the 180 level, and yet I'm waiting for it to break, and it never breaks. So the next time it gets down there, maybe it is the break. But if you grab the long, congratulations, Steve. It's definitely the level to watch on Apple. You're getting the best trades off that 180 area. But I'm back into the short on Intel. Hopefully SOUN doesn't care what the market does because we're testing back underneath 18,000.
All right, we'll try a little. I didn't even, thanks to people in the chat there mentioning to me that Roku just, and thank you there was Joseph, what's up? And everybody else, thank you for Roku. You're welcome, Joseph. Thank you, Daddy. Wait a second. Okay, you're welcome, I guess. Roku tab 64. So yeah, I mean, we'll see there. Again, there's the level. We marked it down. But again, like on an earnings play here, you gotta be careful with some of these plays. So now the market sort of settled down. I still like that 64, giving it to 64.50. That's where my stop's going to be on Roku. We actually held AMD while Neil was talking there back in a little bit, and it's actually worked out pretty good for us on AMD. As you can see now, it's starting to break a little bit lower, but I don't mind it. We just got some fills down there at the 50 period O's. We actually got a 90 something fill. We're gonna hold this against 175.50 now that we're a little bit lighter on it and that the market's pulling back just a little bit. There goes Palantir. It's getting to be pretty good upside right now for Palantir. We'll take 30 cents right there on that one and watch out for that. And we'll watch out for Roku back up in. This is the one that I'm going to be most concerned about because it's my newest position. So let's watch out for Roku right here, trying to go higher and higher. But we got to watch out for that 64. What is that pre-market break? Hold on a second. I just want to zoom in a little bit more there. My screen just flashed. So if you guys didn't see that, then no one does. Right there, 64.10. Yeah. So we got to give it a little bit of room, but like 64 and a quarter, we're going to be out of this if it does go in. AMD right now making that move back into the 90s. Let's take some more profit out there. There it is, 97. We'll see if it pulls. Coinbase is $5 in the money, and the shorts look like they want to print now that we go under VWAP and get back through 18,000.
So we took that, we waited for that 720 next on SOUN, first bounce off the 750 level, get in and out of it, patiently wait for it to get down to 720, which was this consolidation level, jump into it again. And for my plan of action, I'd rather take more than one shot on it than risk everything on the individual, just that one shot that it has to be dead on right. So if I get the dip by price wrong, I'm going to exit the trade and I'm going to look for the next level down. Always only looking for the long, so I just grabbed 26s, took some out at 40s. Now we'll get some out if it breaks that 50 level. Intel, the reload, now out of the short altogether up here above 43.15. And we're now just sort of short off of VWAP in here at 93. So I'm going to get a bid down around that low of the day. This is the one that is never really threatened against. Intel has only been a flush. So if the market holds underneath 18,000, I want to stick to this. Worth remembering, this is 42.5 at the bottom. It's got a lot of support down there. So I think that's going to be the ultimate target for me on Intel. Want to respect the range. As much as it's been a good one, if there's buyers down at 42.5, then I've got to respect that. If it gets there, we'll take our percent and run. So we're going to try to get it back here on Sound, I should say. Just getting some out as it breaks that 750. So whether you, like, it's up to you. My plan of action is generally usually just going to get out the first consolidation and look for the second one. If you sort of average down into it with a stop at 720, it might end up the net effect. You've just got to trade your own book. Now if it breaks the high of the day, we got a piece on board as well. As Bitcoin's back underneath 57,000.
Ooh la la.
Which means, okay, what's Mara doing? Still a wide range in Mara. I've been only shorting when it's underneath 31 because I wanted to break down under 31. So I've been looking for weakness underneath that price to fill in the gap to the downside. Not quite doing it just yet.
No, there isn't much happening quite yet, to be honest with you. All right, so we're into Roku now. Pretty good. We have pretty much our full position here. So 85s is where we're short. It's at 90. Well, I mean, depending where you get the fill, it's called 95 right now. So we'll wait to see if this breaks through that 64.25 area. This is going to suck because the first time it tagged it was nice. It went down about 50 cents. Right now, we're trying to hover around. We've got to watch out for the NASDAQ. And we actually just got, funny there, because we just got short. There it is, Roku. We just got a print as it fell down a little bit. We get that. Okay, I was going to say, did we get that, Phil? We did, down there at 30. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what happens with Roku. So now it's trying to go back in. We are now short at 88. Let's punch a little bit out there midway there. We get a 74 print or so on that. And so we'll have to wait to see now where Roku goes, hopefully to the downside. We've got some positions on this one. We're bidding in the 60s, then again in the 50s, and maybe we'll put something in the 70s. If you're not sitting around bidding on this, then you're going to miss the fills. Like, it has to come in and fill you. If you're playing short term like I am. Okay, there goes AMD, by the way. So we can now stop, man. 176. I mean, it is really getting going there as these chip names just continue to go higher and higher. So we'll L it up on AMD. We tried the short, man. I'm thinking short, but the market's not thinking anything. So when that happens, you know, stay put.
I'm doing this. So I said there is one condition under which Macy's should get traded today, and it was 18.5 and 19.5. It shouldn't be that clean, yet the market is telling me that you should have maybe paid a little more attention to that 1950 break on Macy's. It's up 7.5%. I'm not going to chase it. Just wanted to point it out if you're in it. Congratulations. Unity is breaking higher. This could be, it's a 11% short float. I want to say maybe 11.5, 12% on Unity. It's already SSR. It's trying to hold the $30 level. Sometimes it's more about that float than anything else. I don't care about the report, but this was the zone that I was looking for resistance into that 30 to 31. So yes, it might squeeze above it, but this was the range I was going to look for that little dip back in, usually to VWAP. So if it does a failed break of the high, 31 was that stop zone. Watch out for SOUN here. I got a couple of those profit takes as it got to 750, but if it can't hold on, I'm not, here it goes. Just came out, 720 was going to be the stop for me. I had 26s long the second time through. It did give a nice press, but it could not hold on to that 720 level, so I jump out. Always got to have yourself an out. We get in once, we stop it out, willing to stop it out, take the profit where you can. That's how you preserve profits on those types of names. Apparently Alt is going as well, but now that Unity's on the radar, there's only so many of those that I'm going to be looking at. Oh yeah, that OSI, it's a venture stock, it's a buyout, it's not going to move. And it's not OSI in the New York, that is OSI on the Toronto venture, if you're curious. It's just, all our trades are going to show up there. It's literally not going to move more than a couple cents.
No, we do have a nice move on Roku right now, 50 cents in the money on this short as Roku's finally falling back in. So we'll talk about some new trades, but we have Adara.
Sorry about that. Quick note here on the SPY. Barclays raising its year-end target for the S&P 500 from 4,800 to 5,300 for 2024. So just a quick note there, guys.
All right, so Coinbase, $7, yeah. So watch out for those adjustments coming through here. We talked about the S&P 500 being pretty much above the street's consensus right now for the year, and it's just February, almost March. There goes Coinbase again. Nice little move back down as Bitcoin 56.8. We are still off the sticky note in this trade, and we had that pretty early because it went right to our level. We talked about that we could have a chance early to get this 10, and if it did come in, then it would be something to look at. So I feel like getting out down here. If we can get like 02, I feel like that's a pretty good trade. All right, so we just got 50s, I believe, on Roku, or what did we get there? Our best out is 62, sorry. We are bidding a 50 on Roku as well as that's coming back in. And then the newest trade that we have on right now is a slippery one. That is the best way for me to talk about it. And that is going to be the futures trade here on the NASDAQ, just playing off that top. If it's the Qs, it's 437.50. So that's what we're playing off of right now. And we have a decent position. So I'm going to have to try to push some. Yes, sir. We just got a 23 there. Is that what you just got? As that was a good one coming back back in. So we're making a little bit of money back sneakily here in this market. As come on, Roku, hit that 50, and let's just, wow, look at that. Good thing we got something out here. I like scalping these cues, to be honest with you, but watch out here as the market looking strong. I feel like this might be long only, and I'm short only right now. I'm long Palantir, which is a positive name, which is nice. Roku's obviously a positive name, but we're getting slippery here on the cues as it's trying to take out those highs. There's that 60 area or so. I was giving it to this 200 period, which is 50, which is where we got the short. So here we go. Maybe a little bit of a pullback in here for us. Save us on this short.
These chips are flying up here. I mean, it's another higher low on NVIDIA. Thankfully, Intel's working. I'm back in Mara. Mara broke 31s again, so I'm shorting back into the 31 level. Intel continues to play weakness, so I like this one. It's holding VWAP. We got the 10-cent range underneath it, so we'll play it again back into 43s. The new position, well, it's not a new one, but it's one that we've been in a couple times. Short on Mara, broke back down, started it underneath the low of the day, gonna play it back into 31 even as it continues to go. Unity is now pressing into that 31 zone, so I was looking for a fail break of this high. It is not failing that break. I do not need to jump into this if it's not showing me a short setup, and right now the market is looking awfully strong. But NVIDIA and the chip names are leading this purge back to the upside. Maybe we do get that 800 to 805 zone on NVIDIA. I guess we got to be patient, because if I'm not failing underneath 785, then I don't want this short until it gets back up to the top, which requires a heck of a lot of patience when it comes to this name. I like Walmart. It's not going to give any trades today. The 60 level is not going to break. Macy's is now pulling back into VWAP, so that could be a trade on Macy's. We already talked about SOUN, so want to be a little bit calm with that as it's trying to get back above that 7 level. So next thing I'm going to do is look for the curl off 31 on Mara, as Bitcoin is still failing to hold above 57,000. And if that's the case, I want to continue to try to short those pops. But very, very patient with NVIDIA. We'll be up shorting it, but anytime you're up shorting and it's trending like that, the next time you short it, I think you want to be very patient. That is an upward trend on NVIDIA.
All right, guys, there it is right there. It is the #1 idea on the sticky note, and it's a banger there. It is 64 short on Roku. It's 85 cents in the money, and we just took a piece out right now on that. We've been taking a piece the whole way, but we just got our target to the downside there. Hitting the 200 period, hitting the 50. There it is right there. It's Roku on that note. So it's been a big one to the downside, and finally, that's good for us. So we're happy with that right there today. We're not happy with our trading on AMD, but what are we going to do about it? Not much right now. I mean, just watch it. That's all that we can do. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now on AMD. We're trying to give it some room. Maybe that 177 is something up top there on advanced micro devices, but I'm not convinced on this trade to the short side. We've had so many banger shorts. Why do we need to even look at this name? So we probably won't. AMD. There's Coinbase, $5 in the money. We're short the Qs, which is now 30 cents in the money. We're short Roku, which is one of these right now in the money. So yeah, I mean, what are we even doing looking over at something that we're not convinced of? So we'll stay in the pocket like we keep saying and just do what we believe is going to be right. Trade the names that we've done the work on. It's Roku, it's $1 right there. We liked what we saw in the NASDAQ, pulling back in a little bit here. I'm going to have to punch some more out as we still have a decent position right there. So it's going to be a good day overall. It's really just Square. That one went up and down against us there. That was too bad because look where we are now for Square, which is fine. And then the other name there would be AMD. And then ARM has been a good one too. If you took that short 144, it's been really good so far. Debating getting back into this ARM short 144. But there it is, man. Roku breaking lower and lower. Let's put another bid in and around 62.70 right now. If you're Sticky Note Nation, man, you're coming in on this airplane right now. Just make sure you catch some of that. And you can have winning trades, but you have to get out of them in order to catch that money. So far, so good here on Roku.
Bit of a double top here on NVIDIA. I'll slap the fail on Mara. We try to keep this one in the pocket. As I said, NVIDIA might turn right now, 77.8. 31 broke. So we've traded it 3 times separately on Mara, 1 for 3 on it. Try to keep the loss smaller than the wins on Meta and NVIDIA. That's the way to stay green on the day. That's what's worked pretty much. The entirety of this year is a bit of a shift. I think this year it's had some volatility, but if you're always holding for the bigger moves, I've found that a lot of times I'm trying to stay in the pocket, so the tighter range move, take the profit, tighter stops, has led to a little bit more consistency. But wow, 18,000 just will not give it up. Every time I look over, I'm like, okay, we're breaking back down underneath 18,000 on the NASDAQ. We're just going higher. And it looked like a bit of a curl there on NVIDIA, and we're still climbing. Intel, this one looks fine underneath that 43 level. And then Unity, remember we mentioned Unity at that $31 level. It's now starting to pull back. This is a bad wick. It never printed to 33. That's just a dark pull wick. But it has turned off of that 31 level. So Unity finding resistance at that 30.5 to 31 zone we anticipated. If it breaks 31, this is not one that I want to hold past the hard stop there. But it's in the range where I said I'd look for that short after the bounce. On this earnings name, we didn't really trade any Zoom. We'll get to that in a little bit, but Unity here at 31, looking for the short underneath.
All right. Well, with that being said, I was trying to look at Tesla. I mean, Tesla's had a real good, the problem is it's underneath. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back over to Tesla. Right now, Bitcoin's back up, man.
Zoom is dying.
57.2.
Unbelievable.
Right now, well, yeah, we can look at Zoom. We talked about some levels for Zoom earlier. Okay, so here we go. Tesla, all right, so I like it because we're up on the day on Tesla. So that would be one indicator right there for something. There goes Palantir. We are now out of that. Wow, that was, what a face slapper there for Palantir. Wish we had stayed in that one a little bit longer, eh, guys? But there it is right there. Bottoms, tops on Palantir. We'll take it and we'll like it. So that's a good one there. We're back in, by the way. So let's hit this one. We're back into ARM. We're short at 40s right now. We could take a piece out at 43 there. That bottom is if it comes in. That bottom is 142. So let's put another piece down there if that does come in, just because that's where the 50-period moving average is. We'll try to take 40 or 50 cents as we reshort this one, basically against 145. So there it is right there. Spin it for ARM. We'll take down 40 cents right there. And now we'll wait to see if we do get that push down in. Again, like we had mentioned, trying to have some days here. So let's see if ARM wants to make that move back. We'll wait for a 142 and try to be somewhat conservative. I mean, we've now stared $8 in the face 3 times and not taking it on Coinbase. So down here to 202, I feel like we might as well do it. If crypto crashes, crypto crashes. You guys already know that we have this trade. We can always get back into it if there is a problem. But right now, it's probably the bet is that crypto holds, and if not, goes a little bit higher. You guys know how bullish I've been in this space. So we'll put it down here at 202. If we get that fill, fine. We'll take a we'll take a small $8 winner there and hopefully be able to celebrate that, but it has to come in first.
Before we go?
Yeah, let's just wait for this bottom. Let's go to 201.50. At least if we get it, we get the bottom.
So before we go, we're just going to jump to the small cap recap in a second, but Unity did the over-under at 31. It popped, got to 31.16. I'm short back underneath at 88 with a stop at the high of the day. First out will be at in front of the previous high. Let's go to Adara for the small cap recap, I believe.
IWM, the Russell 2000, up about 1% right now, basically seeing slightly higher lows here on the way to the upside. We have lots of small cap runners to discuss today, including one of the biggest ones today, Janux Therapeutics. JANX is going to be the ticker for this, up over 160%. Last night announced some positive data for its prostate cancer treatment, and Wedbush raising its price target this morning, so good look for JANX. Next, we have Beam Therapeutics. BEAM is the ticker. This one reporting a pretty strong earnings beat across the board, and it has a short float of over 16% for BEAM. Last but not least here, SoundHound, SOUN, still running. This one also has a slightly notable short float of around 10%, and it's been running over the last couple weeks after NVIDIA announced that it had a stake in the company. So good look here with the overall AI boom for SOUN.
We come back with $5 on coin and now $1. We have a nice little dollar club winner right there for ARM. And again, off that short, we just shorted 144 again down there. You know what? I might just take a piece here if I can get it. Did we just get that fill? No, we did not. I'm going to cancel my 142.20. See if there it is. We just got a 60-something fill. Nice move. There it is. We'll take a little piece out there on ARM and then see what happens moving forward now. So that's a piece that we're going to try to do right there and hold now for that bottom break. If we can get back into 140 there for ARM, then definitely worth the trick there. 140. There it is, man. Now it's $2 right there. We just shorted 144. We didn't. We shorted 143.60. What do we have on? 143.61. So actually here it comes in. It's about $1.20 right now, math. We'll see if that can continue to go. Coin, we told you where we're bidding, 201. Let's see if that can come in right now. That's pennies, dollars away from happening. And then Roku, yeah, it does make a move back up, but we'll do a little bit of a face slap. This is going to be a top name here today on the show, and we just started this trade. So 10 o'clock, we just took some Roku, and now it's Print Factory there for me on the downside, and so is ARM. But that, damn it, look at AMD. Again, glad we got out of this as you hear me being frustrated as that just goes to the upside right now. AMD continues to climb here. I haven't even checked.
NVIDIA just wicked 90s. Intel is at 43. So like Intel's at the VWAP 43 area. If it fails here, like this is the only one. It's about to go green as a matter of fact. It's the only one that's been pretty good to the short. That's why I've been in it the entire morning. Unity's still holding that same high, but even that could break out on a bit of an SSR play. So if we curl and fail VWAP, I'm going to add to this, but I got to get over to NVIDIA as you were just mentioning. Like this, look at the wick shimmy at 790. This might be the only opportunity. If off of that opening range top at 795, this looks like a little bit of exhaustion here on NVIDIA, so this might be the one chance to get back into it. I like Intel as well, but I'm just sort of sticking to the names that we've been trading this entire time. As I said, Unity very, very close to taking out that top. There is a bad wick on our charts. It never got to 33, 31. The teens are the top. My stop is just above that 20 level. But this has been a trend to the upside. Like the initial shorts, like all the first ones were good, and all I've been doing is taking these little paper cuts, giving it a little bit back, trying to be patient, reloading. Now it looks pretty decent. I missed out on, I thought we'd get something tighter at 790 there, but look at the pullback already in NVIDIA. So the first thing I did was able to sort of hit Intel back underneath that 43 zone. But you saw how fast that was on NVIDIA. I think it can be shorted at 790.
Okay, we're
Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, we're trying to take 30 cents here on AMD as well. There it is. Okay, a little bit of a face slapper there. As we got back into AMD, we talked about looking at how high up this name has gone, but we've had a lot of winners on this name, yet it's my biggest loser today because, again, we're trying to hold to see if there is going to be some kind of a decent pullback right now. We're $2 in the money on ARM. We're $5 in the money on Roku, on Coinbase. 50 cents on Roku, and trying to make something happen here on AMD. And we can't make anything happen. We can just try to trade what we see. That's 176.50. Looks like a decent area here. I do have another bid at 80. So if that comes in a little bit more than where we are even right now, I'll put a bid at 87 to see if we, there it is. Did we just get it? Nope. It stops at 90. Okay. Hopefully we can, hopefully we can get down. I thought we went rant like that and he picked us up, but it did not. Oh no, that sucks. All right, well, we'll wait for it. So that's what we have to do now as we wait for AMD to come through. ARM, of course, is $1.50. We talked about that coin in Roku. So we're just 4 names short here. So the short club is in for me one more time, as we were short yesterday a lot, and now we're going to be short here more today. So watch out for AMD. My stop is 178 with an average back in up here at 177.75. I'm either being really stubborn or really stupid or a combination of both, as we'll wait to see if AMD pulls back. It's just the NASDAQ is at the pre-market high now. We already saw that move. AMD went for its run. So, you know, maybe it's time to give something back. It's saying no, not at all. So we are going to be wrong on that one, but we are 100% dead on right now with what's happening on ARM. This is a big one here again today. Let's just see how far it wants to go down. Coinbase still going lower. Let's see a 104 break or 204 break. There it is right now. $6 in this name and $1.70 in ARM. Debating just taking this out. Like ARM is right here. We've already got a nice spot here, but we are still bidding 140 to see if that comes in for ARM.
So I just got another like first take on Intel every 10 cents. The bottom of the range is about 40 cents here. So that's a 1% move. So every quartile of that, going to take some profit on it. But we're still in the market trying to upward trend. This was the only thing underneath VWAP for a trade, so we grabbed it. Unity is still bursting. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Now, there you can kind of see. So there is your support level on Unity. Previously, there's the Huadong on earnings. It does the SSR bounce. It's right at the zone that I like to show. I was in and out, sort of flat once, and then now we're into the short, giving it to the local high. That's just a bad wick. So I want the pullback back into 29.5, have some take profits into the previous high. Then we'll see how far it can head back into the downside. Now you're starting to get a little bit of flush edge in this market. We're back underneath the 18,000 level. NVIDIA is starting to carry through. I know Intel's working, so that one should be absolutely fine. But this market has been strong off the 18. If it holds one more time, Apple bounced 180, and each time it's bounced 180, it's tended to bounce for good. The 180 bounce put in a higher low. It didn't get to 180 yesterday. It's trying to put in a higher low. If we hold 18,000, 181 on Apple looks good. Should have more longs today. There's no question about it. You've seen the nice little bounce off the lows on the NASDAQ. Yesterday I had Rivian. If Apple can hold on to VWAP in 181, it would also be holding green as well. So it has 18,000 VWAP, 181 on Apple, but it's still in the front end of the trade. You're still dropping to the downside. If you're going to be patient, that requires seeing the bottom, a little bit of sideways action at 10:30. At 9:30 at the open, you might consider just sit on the bid and watch it snap back up. At this time of day, I want to see a consolidation bottom off of VWAP and off of the 181 on Apple. Not just going to jump in all willy-nilly. This is that time where you want to try to calm things down a bit. With regards to Intel, the next profit taker is pretty clearly right in the same range we did it last time. We got 90s, got 85s in here, and we'll keep going back into that well. SOUN, it's holding 7, but not in a good way. Like, it's got resistance at the $7 level. So we went 1 for 2 on SOUN, profitable because we got a decent bounce that second time. If it can hold VWAP, I do still like the chance for this to get a second move and then retest those highs. Just needs to break out of this range, and then we could go back at this name. Otherwise, we have to be, just throw it in the back of the mind until it breaks back above VWAP here on SOUN. And good timing, because Bitcoin, wow, it just cannot seem to hold under 57. Let's go and get that crypto update with Adara.
Of course, we've had lots of strength in Bitcoin over the past few days, but actually yesterday, the trading in those 9 new spot BTC ETFs that started trading on January 11th have now, as of yesterday, set its new volume or daily record for its best trading day since they launched on January 11th. It was led by IBIT, which is the BlackRock ETF. Of the $2.4 billion in volume that we saw yesterday, 1.3 billion of those were from the BlackRock ETF, IBIT. So really good look for these ETFs in general yesterday, but especially that BlackRock IBIT. Bitcoin itself is, of course, as Neil said, still holding up really well above that 57,000. From yesterday to today, we went from that 52,000 level all the way up to 57,000. So fantastic look for Bitcoin, but it's also been a fantastic look for a lot of these other crypto-related currencies. We have Ethereum up 4.5% at just trading well above that 3,200 level. Solana up about 5%, Ripple up about 5%, Cardano up 3.5%, and Dogecoin notably up almost 13% here, guys. Good look across the board.
Like that Cardano. We just take 90 cents there, face slap a little bit on AMD. Finally, I would say to Neil, finally, this thing goes down. And look, yeah, finally, AMD has come back to reality. No, I don't know where reality is on these names. It doesn't seem like it's anywhere near here. All right, so that comes right in. So we short it there. Well, you can see what we have, 177.14. That fill right there is 22s right on the 200 period moving average. And then here we go down. Bang! That's another one right now. It's a $1, it's a $2, it's a $3 winner right now on ARM. And again, the 2 top ideas, well, we have Alibaba on here, we didn't get involved with that yet, is Roku, short 64. That's a very, very top stock. And then right now, ARM, short 144, as here comes ARM, Patrick, all the way down into 140 flat right now. We'll see if we can get out a little bit in the 70s there. And did we get printed? No, we did not. We were bidding in the dark there, 140.75. 65, but did not get printed. So maybe a little bit of a move down again, and we will get that fill for now. But $3 in the money there on ARM while we were, and now it's $2.50 at 5 and change on coin. And then look at Roku. Looky Roku. We only have 10% left of this name, so it is making the move. You could probably count 9 or so fills down here, but we actually took more out at the 50 period and then only 10% down here, as I didn't really think it was going to get to 63, so I didn't want to hold too much of it, but good thing we did. Then another piece out, and then now right back to 64. We've already sort of made our bed with a lot of these shorts. I'd rather get some of these fills down here before I average back into Roku. So Roku damage already. I mean, no damage done, but damage done on the positive side of things there with Roku. And then it's just really ARM. Need one more flush here on that one to get that fill. Again, if you're sitting around, that's the only way to get filled. Like, I closed the spread there by 10 cents and didn't get filled. So you got
on the bid and start that stock.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got it.
Big time.
It's like, I'm just hoping that it flushes now and fills the 75. The minute you put a bid out, it's...
So quickly, that high of the day got broken out on Unity. So hard stop in at one level when it broke it out. Hard stop through. This could go green if it gets to 33, but that seems like a long shot. I took my one shot at it. Dominic, shout out to you, Dominic. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen you in the chat. Oh yeah, that's right. We're not split adjusted. Walmart is bouncing nicely, but remember, it's still downward trending. It needs to get above VWAP. It needs to take the $60 level. This is still in a downward trend. I am in one short as 18,000 just continues to hold over and over and over again. This is now starting to look like a better bounce on Apple. A little bit of a consolidation off of this level. This is what we wanted to see. Just give it a little bit more off that 181, then jump into it. Do not need to be rushing at 1030. NVIDIA, which has been a good name to the short side, mostly because I gave it up. Like, took the short, took profit, had to stop. Took the short, took profit, had to stop. Now it's looking a heck of a lot weaker. Intel's been good pretty much the entire way. Want to short off 790, but if it fails 785 again, that was the zone that I liked it short underneath. So I'm willing to play it in both ways here. Either short in the pop into 90, or let's see if we can break down off 85. Adara?
Carvana moving up quite a lot here, up over 13%. So I'm seeing a couple things on this. We did get Morgan Stanley, Evercore, ISI, and Deutsche Bank all raising the price targets for Carvana. Also, interestingly enough, Carisdale Capital, right up at open, posting on X that they have issued a short report on Carvana with some issues, I guess, regarding their accounting metrics and some of their profit metrics. But Carisdale basically saying they're short. Carvana already has a really notable short float of about 35%. So lots of potential factors here for that CVNA move, guys.
Sharif just asked me if I was long Coinbase. I gave him like stink eye. Now we're $7 right now in the money on the short. $7. And it's not like this was a level that we picked out of thin air. This is your sticky note level right now. $7 in the money on Coinbase. And we're here to hold it. ARM also, we just got 143.50 or 140.50 because we canceled our 75, let it fall through us, then punch somebody at 50. So that was a good fill there that we got. So that was good strategy. We changed it up a little bit. Let it fall in, then punch that out as it comes back up to the upside there. So that's 350 off this level. So good trade there. $3, $7 now coin, and AMD's just hovering around. So yeah, man, really good. And then we did not reload Roku, but I hope some of you did down there. So yeah, man, good report there on Carvana. Like, these stocks just keep on going. We talked about this on the recap show, and if you're still not watching the recap show, honestly, whatever. Traders stay late. We talk about that every single day. Carvana, we had this on earnings, man. We talked all about this. We talked about this low float name. We may have even talked about this yesterday with Michael Noss as well. BTC is going up, and BTC will continue to probably go up. Well, you guys think I should get out of this? Okay, how about this? What about if we break 204? I mean, honestly, we've done really well today on lots of things. So why don't we just, like 204.50 or so, maybe we could get out if it breaks higher than that on Coinbase. But I really am looking for a lot more, man, on all of this. Like ARM right now is trying to head lower. AMD's trying to head lower. And Coinbase is still $7. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all of that if you're not enjoying it, man. I mean, then you're probably in the wrong space, because it's been a really good day here today and a lot of fun moving stocks.
There's a lot moving. By the way, Bitcoin is now within $50 of the local high. I'm just looking up at BTC. I'm into Apple. Finally pressed off that 181, couple of green bars in a row there. So it's starting to get back into the upside. Again, the market is holding 18,000, so looking for a couple of longs. We haven't really talked too much about this name, but Rivian's starting to wake up. This held yesterday. It was a good long off of 10, but I like what I see here. Holding the higher low off of 1060. I'm looking for opportunities of things that can be relatively strong. Still don't want to give up on some of the shorts, but this one holding VWAP. Love where it bounced at that 1050. Worth putting that into play. Intel's going to be Intel, but watch out for Carvana at 80 bucks. I don't know if we have to pay for locates here, but at some point, shoot, I don't have a weekly chart up on this thing. At some point, you have $80, $90, $100 is the next resistance level. It is getting a little frothy. This is now 20 bucks from its local breakout price. I do think there is a curl coming, and when it does, there should be like a $5 drop. But I just realized I don't know if we have locates on Carvana. Just going to double check for myself. There we do. They're actually free.
There you go.
Sometimes that's a bit of a curse. We've said that before. A lot of times if it's free locates, that means everyone's looking for the retracement and it's costing them nothing to try it multiple times. About to reload on Intel because this has been holding VWAP, but taking profits, got 90s, got 85s. It's right back up to that 43 level here on Intel. At some point, this could hold and continue higher, but it's been working on the short side. It's the only one I've been in the entirety of this morning.
All right, so I'm just writing this out to everybody there on Sticky Note Nation. If you're just joining for the first time and you're wondering, like, you know, where do we get some of these things from? Where do we get these names from? Where do we get these ideas from, right? It's watchlist.tradertv.live. It's right here. Like, who would know to short 144 at ARM? Like, who would know that? Well, if you don't, it's right there. 144 ARM, now $4 in the money on that trade. Coinbase is now $10, $8.50 now in the money off this 210 short. Palantir's been a good trade today, man. We were up on Palantir, and then the Roku short right now is 30 cents in the money. Everything is fine. Every single one of these trades right there so far has been okay. They're just ideas. They're just ideas. Boba never got to 76, so you'd had to take the long earlier, which would have been good. There goes Coinbase, by the way, right in 2 days low. Go find me at Trader TV Sean. We also do the recap show and the podcast. We're a busy guy, but it's all for you. There goes ARM, by the way. Look what we're going to have on. This is 70 cents in the money, AMD. This is $4 in the money, ARM. This is $8 in the money, Coinbase. This is 40 cents in the money here, Roku. And it is Adara over at the screen. Let's go, A.
Mixed look across the board here, specifically in some of these tech-related names. So we have electronic technology pretty much mixed, a little bit of green here for AMD and Qualcomm. So some of these chips getting a bit of upside. Our technology services story, again, pretty mixed, except for Netflix really strong here. Meta also seeing a little bit of upside. We did have some reports that Zuckerberg has spoken to the Prime Minister of Japan during his trip to Asia. So interesting look there. They discussed AI. So a bit of AI news potentially boosting Meta here. Mixed look for finance with BRKB to the downside. Mixed look similarly in health technology. Downside pretty much across the board here, though, for commercial services. Lots of weakness in energy minerals as well. Consumer durables a little bit stronger with Tesla buoying this group to the upside. And transportation notably pretty much green across the board here alongside utilities, guys.
All right.
Somewhat adjacent to transport, by the way. NCLH reported this morning CCL is up on sympathy for that. You're going to see it fail VWAP. It's bounced once off of 15.5. Just also 15.5 is this resistance level on the daily chart. So breakout into resistance level, breakout back into support off 15.5. Going to look for the long off to 15.5. But got to get back to the well on some of the short sides of the trades, as Apple could not hold 181. I want to go back over to Meta. We're trying to be really patient with Meta to see if it could get back to that 86. It did not. If it fails underneath VWAP, look to reshort it down lower. This is one that, like Intel, was kind of clean to the short side the first time through and didn't have to worry about it. Now the weakness is starting to come back in here on Meta.
All right, guys. You guys know we're net short here. We've been short for all morning, pretty much. I don't think we've had a long. We long Palantir. We were short Qs. We were short Square. We were short Coin. We're still short ARM. And by the way, guys, this stop was $1 higher. So this is an 8-to-1 right now on this trade. So I'm thinking about a take here of 202. So let's just, if we go to the downside there and we're able to take out 202, then we'll be gone. But right now, this is a $10 winner coming in, hopefully for Coinbase, if we do take out that $200 level. So, I mean, this has been, again, thank you so much for watching. Please, guys, like, follow, do everything right now. Make sure you buy whatever you guys are looking to do from these names, like Coinbase down here at 200. This is a key level here. We're going to try to hold it a little bit more, but this is $9. You know what we've done the last couple of days? I mean, we've just ho-hummed some of these trades. We've taken over $50 from NVIDIA on Friday, over $16 or something yesterday from ARM. Again, today here on Coinbase. This is $10 right here alone, and we still have a third of this. Like, we've already taken 5. Now here we go. Bye-bye Coinbase, breaking through now. So yeah, this has been a really good little rebound here for the market in crypto, but Coinbase, we talked about it. We said it's overheated. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We wrote it down. We gave you our opinion, and then congratulations on $10. So there it is right there, right on the sticky note. It's a $10 clapper right there as we break lower and lower and lower. Let's go into the gates of hell right now. There it goes, a nice downside move. If you guys want something for social media, here's an $11 winner on Coinbase right now. So yeah, we're just gonna sit here, watch it. By the way, it's not just Coinbase, man. We have $4 on ARM as well, which is breaking lower. So it's all good right now as we just wait to see what's going on with this market. I mean, to be honest with you, Coinbase could fall even further, man. It's now broke. Wow. There we go. Now $11 in the money for Coinbase.
Yeah, I love that short, but I got another short that I put Meta on, and I think this is now the moment on AMD. Patience is only so much of a virtue. This is one of my favorite setups where you have resistance, 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 wick top. Market just failed 18,000. So underneath 18,000, I'm looking for shorts, and I don't want to be fighting otherwise. There's your lower high as the market is failing underneath 18,000. Wow. So I jumped into Meta, and I'm into AMD. I was looking at NVIDIA to see if it set up, and NVIDIA did not have the same setup, or otherwise I would have jumped back into that. So I want to get some out 176. We talk about getting things on the front end and the back end. When I say get in on the back end of the trade, it's see it short and then give another entry as the sellers have already come into the stock, and that's what we're going to try and do here. Fisker, I know apparently some people are talking about Fisker running to the upside. Not really watching that. It's Carvana that I have my sights set on as a bit of a squeeze play. So AMD for the first time for me. Vana, we have free locates, but it already failed the $80 level. I mean, the stock's already coming in off the 80. Didn't quite get that punch in fast enough. But I'm only short underneath 18,000. I would take another shot at Apple if we get back above it. This is the one I do like, but it's got to be back above VWAP. So tight stops, that's how you can stay sort of green even when you are wrong on something.
Oh, man. Yeah, tight stops and trade the right names. I mean, I had $1 stop on Coinbase. That's pretty tight. Now we're in the money, $12. You know, so that's the kind of stuff that you want to look for here on a market like this. We talk about this. This is the market. I've done lots of these Oh, by the way, thank you for all the support on the walk and talks, man. I'll do another one after this. Go find it on Instagram. Maybe I'll put it on Twitter this time as well. But this is the market to take the risk in. We've talked about that. There's so many names that are lining up for monster plays. And that's why, like, we talked about the change, right? We talked about celebrating guys behind us every single day, right? Obi-Wan, another one, right? He's doing the same stuff as this. Watching out, right? I mean, there it is. Now we're $13 in the money. Look at this bleed. This is what we're doing, man. You got to put in the work. Once you do that, the rest really is history. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it's like anything else. You put in the work, you understand what you're doing, you take on risk, and this is what it is. So Congratulations, Monty G, man. Congratulations, Sammy, Ponzi Fonzie, all of those guys out there. What's up, Picky Eater? Everybody, man. How low can ARM go today? I don't know, man. We just give the hot fire, man. How far it gets actually baked up is up to you guys, man. How far do you want to let this cook, man? You know, you are in control of all of these trades. So some would have probably taken coin out for $5. We did. We held the rest. You got to have confidence in your plays. We do. And here goes Coinbase, man. I mean, this is what this is. It's a great opportunity. It's a great time to trade. So take advantage of it, man, for sure. Breaking back above 141 here on ARM. We already sort of talked about where we would get out if that did happen. And then I'm going to put a stop in on Coinbase now that we've just sort of waxed poetic there about what kind of a market this is. Coinbase trying to break back maybe above 200. That's probably a decent out. We can call it quits if it gets above 201, and we'll just take $9.
Yeah, it's probably a good look because we're still back and forth, finding that 18,000 level once again. So you're sort of teetering. I think at this point, you got to continue to play the patience game. I waited for a setup in AMD. The market looks like it wants to go green again. By the way, watch out for Carvana. It's catching a bit of a bid. Doesn't seem to want to get to VWAP. But I don't want to be long this unless we're above 181. I've already said that on Apple. It's got to hold 181, or I don't want to be involved to the long side unless it's the 180 level. So we'll keep it tighter to the vest. Intel just gave a reload off 43. At some point, this one's going to go. But it's been pretty clean shorting this one stair step to the downside. If we break out at 43, we're going to have to dump it. Looking a little bit strong here. There it goes. There it goes. Going to break that 43. I have 43.05 as my out, so it doesn't look like Intel's going to be able to hold in the bottom of the range here. I just jumped out of it. There's a hard stop, and then we'll see what's going to happen with that AMD. I waited till it got up to that top to play the consolidation to the high of the day. One shot, one out if it can hold the high. Went to the 1-to-1 for the stop, but the market is going to be churning back into the upside. So the thing about it is, if the short is going to be wrong, the short is just wrong. But if you want to have green days, months, weeks, the only thing that matters is what is the size of your winners to your losers. So try to keep that inside the pocket. If we're going to be wrong about it being a short day today, I'm not going to stay stubborn about it. The AMD looking very, very strong. I think it's a little bit overheated. And I've generally been thinking the closer you get to this 180 on the daily chart, it's been a short going into these levels, but that doesn't mean it's a short forever up at these tops. It can always break this sucker out at some point. Maybe it's today, maybe it isn't. Carvana still trying to get back over to those highs. I think this is a pure squeeze here. There's nothing about the report that was that fantastic, but is over 30% short float. If it tries to get back and does another wick shimmy at $80, I think that sets you up for a bit of a play, for a bit of a pullback. You can try to risk about 50 cents on something like that, and you can get $1.50 to $2 on any kind of a pullback. Has already happened here. We're going to the desk for Money Talks.
USD here on the daily chart, more or less flat, still below that 104 area right now, just around 103.80. We did get some economic data earlier today. U.S. durable good orders for January coming in lower than expected, so negative 6% versus the estimate of negative 4.9%. Same idea with the CB consumer confidence number for February. This also coming in lower than expected, so 106.7 versus the expected 114.8 here. Basically, USD just continuing on this downtrend from what we were seeing basically on Valentine's Day, that 104.80 area. So we're about $1 down from that, or I guess 100 points down from that on the DXY. Also worth noting that we do have some major economic data coming up through the rest of the week, and lots of Fed speakers. Big economic data on watch is that quarterly GDP number coming out tomorrow, preliminary GDP coming out tomorrow morning, and PCE, which is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, coming out on Thursday, guys. So lots to keep an eye on. And also, would like to thank our sponsor, Benzinga, because we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Unfortunately, we have some bad news. I mean, $3 winner is never really going to be bad news. But ARM did take 141 there, and we got out. Now it's down $1 lower than where it was. So you know, that's what we do. You know, instead of taking smaller losers, we'll just take a smaller winner on that one than we could have normally had. Why don't we just hold it? But you got to have outs, right? So I'm not going to sit here and worry too much about that. AMD, we have a very, very small position. I was waiting. Actually, I'm going to cancel this now. I was waiting to get a little more up here, but this is a pretty nice run against the market. Let me just take a small piece then at 62. And then if we can get to like 85 or so, maybe we'll take another piece here. We still have that stop. Actually, the stop is still set. The stop's still set at 178. So there it is. We just take a small piece at 60, goes instantly 20 cents in the money. Damn you, ARM, honestly. Ugh, that's too bad. Oh, man, that is way too bad. We just got stopped out $1.30 ago on ARM. That's disappointing for me. All right, Roku, by the way, there it is, man. That's going to be a money trade all day, every day on Roku. Shorting 64, back out. Again, another one with a well-defined loss and... you know, well traded, obviously, on that one. So we'll get out if this breaks back above 63.30. We'll put in our stop order right now. I hope you guys have really enjoyed the show. Like I said, the shorts have really been printing here today. We have one mistake on ARM, and that's when we got stopped out at the 200 period. That's going to happen to me for sure on the 2-minute chart. I've done a lot of work, and I'm stopping out there if that happens pretty much all the time. And then AMD, man, being stubborn early with it and have not been able to get back green on this name. So just real short early. It's a good thing it wasn't disastrous by any stretch of the imagination. You stay alive so that you can do what we did. I just hope that you guys enjoy the show. It's been a good one. And we are, oh, by the way, everybody, we're going to have fire alarms today. But just to get everybody going there, if you do hear something in the background, it is a fire test today. Just a test. Today's menu. All right, we just got out of something else there. Roku we got out of. That's a good one. Today's menu, if you've had a good day, then you've had a couple of these. So we've had a couple of these today, and we're about to have another one for lunch. I was going to say dinner. It is herb grilled chicken. That's not so bad. Herb grilled chicken with Spanish rice and beans. So you might get saved by the side today, but there's nothing wrong with some of that. We'll see how that goes. Yesterday,
we'll see.
Yesterday it was, egg. Wasn't it just egg on our salad?
Yeah, well, I got one hard-boiled egg for the protein in our salad.
All right, let's go AMD.
Which is not enough, by the way. Someone just said the bots hunted me on Unity. Well, whatever. One egg, you need 2 for more protein, but not 14 like Sharif does, but at least a couple would be fair. But Unity,
here we go.
If the bots stop me out, I'm willing to take it. And everyone has to trade your own style. My style is I would rather be green more consistently and take the smaller hits and not necessarily dig into them. We'll see what happens with AMD here. I did miss on Intel just now, the reload. I'll show you. As it came back down, this is the wick shimmy it did at 43.05. I tried to grab it back down through 43, but that's one of the bigger hammer candles that it's put in. So a big rejection of the 43 there on Intel. I still think this one's a short. Big, nice little wick in here. I'll short it off this local high now on INTC. It's been a decent one this entire day on Intel. I don't want to get away from it too far. I keep saying Apple, if it can hold VWAP, it's trying to do so now. So it bounced. Let's see the sideways action and consolidation. And then CCL off of sympathy to NCLH. Finally, it took all morning for this to get back above VWAP, and now it's starting to churn. So CCL, I like that sympathy play if you're watching. I just like CCL over NCLH because I've never traded NCLH before, to be honest with you. NCLH breaking out the highs. So if this drags CCL up with it, I got no issues with that.
So again, here today, it's not quite able to do this yet, but I have a very awesome announcement to make. It's Obi gets the trophy so far here today. I'm coming for you, though, Obi. Coming for you. Great trading, man. That's awesome. Right there. Congratulations. And it's amazing that what ARM has considered, what it's continued to do, off of that 144 right there. So again, big congrats to the big guy in the back there, Obi, leading the way here today on the Toronto floor. So good job there. All right. Yeah, that's too bad. I'm really going to not live this ARM down, am I? Probably not. Probably not. But what's fine. Coinbase is only $11 in the money. This is making me a little bit easier pill to swallow than this ARM. But again, good one there. Could I explain why I took coin short? Yeah, well, it is on. If you go look right here, Yanis, I do give an explanation, and thank you for asking. I mean, we do give an explanation on the sticky note why I prefer the trades that I do. We talked about it. What a move here in crypto. This name is having a huge run. Too far, in my opinion. May pull back. Could get a big win here if we break a bit lower on BTC. So, I mean, we literally called this pretty much this exact move. We were looking for a big win. Now it's $11. I mean, that is a big win. And there it goes. So that's what that is. And here we go. We are caught up one more time.
High of the day broke.
Yeah, in AMD, exactly. So as this market continues to go up, we are short now at 81 on what's been my worst stock. And it looks like it's about to get even worse as there goes 178 right
Not
there.
yet.
Almost on AMD. And again, guys, everybody trade, please, trade your own style, but I'm going to be punching out here. Wow, okay. I was going to say I'm being punching out here if we get too much lower there, but we just got a, oh, we did not get a fill. There we go. We get a fill in the 90s. Thought we got a fill lower there. We are bidding 79, but here it goes. It's going to break 80. There it is. So bye-bye. There's the out on that one. So we will go red, like we said, on AMD. We have one red name, AMD and Square, actually, because of this one move that happened there on Square. I still want to short AMD, but time might not be now.
Don't worry about it.
Darn it.
Yeah, good things you guys can't hear that alarm. We actually, it is what it is. But the fire alarms are going off in the back. It's just a test. I'm out of AMD as well, so I'm not in any positions. The only thing I want here is either Rivian or back into Intel. I should still be in Intel 100%. It's the one that's been clean. When you have this kind of a day, and we'll see what happens, I'm basically just slightly red on the day because of AMD, that last trade, breaking it out. But Intel is down on the day, and here I am shorting AMD at the high. Like, this stock is down 0.15%. AMD is breaking out tops. I think the continuation trade works here. But with only 1 minute to go, I don't want to sleep on CCL. It's pulling back into VWAP here, NCLH, which you already saw breaking out. I like the sympathy play back in on CCL. This is the first dip into VWAP that it's putting in. So I'm jumping into this in lieu of taking the highs on NCLH. So NCLH breaking highs, I'm taking the long into CCL on the way back. Nick Dubs, I did miss Super Chat. I'll check it out in a quick little second there and give you an answer. We can always answer the chat in the stream. I did not get to that Super Chat, but I will take a shot at it. Just jumping into CCL off of NCLH's break and jumping back into some Intel as well.
Oh, man. You know, of course, when it's on me and we're talking about it, we take that 20-cent hit there on AMD, and now it goes in the money, 40 cents, and we have it right back again. So as we keep talking about it, guys, this is the ability that we have as traders. Have the ability to take small hits, but big winners. There's nothing, we keep talking about it, that's it. Take a 20-cent hit. We just got filled there on AMD at 64s, at 70s. We're short at 02 right now. So you make a little bit back, but it can hurt you because being stubborn is not good at all. I just wonder here we go, when is this fall going to exactly happen? And there's 50 cents right there again as we fall back for AMD. Like, we're waiting for this. We are waiting for this move. And so let's put another bid down here into the 30s. Maybe we get about to see. Maybe we get another 10 cents or so more. But all right, man, let's not try to be too stubborn here. We haven't necessarily been reading AMD right. We told you here, this is really our only red name here today. We've traded 6 or 7, so we'll have to wait to see. Let's get another piece out at 50. We got a little greedy there. We are now bidding 53s on AMD wow. What a good day. What a good day. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching here. Like Neil mentioned, whether or not you're green or red today, I hope you guys put on some trades that you're happy with and you understand the risks that we took and what we're exactly doing. If you're new to the game, never fear. Sharif and Adara, that's a good trade right there for 50 cents. They're here right now. And today it is?
I know what it is.
Elliott Wave Theory.
Highly technical.
So, yeah, highly technical and very super simple.
Break it down,
says Sharif. So, all right, man, good day today. Thank you so much for watching. We're back, me and this guy, back at 2 o'clock. So get ready for that. But for right now, it's Midday Madness with Adara and Sharif.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is Agrilla Dara, and I'm